You are stressing out over grabbing a ticket for the Spring Festival travel rush. Who knew a little Tang Dynasty princess would suddenly drop from the sky? You thought she was just some lost kid model dressed in hanfu. Not only did you cook her tomato and egg noodles, but you are even planning to pack her up and take her to your hometown for New Year's. And all of this is being live-streamed via the heavenly screen to 7 historical dynasties. Ying Zheng thinks you are unfathomably deep. Zhu Yanzheng is heartbroken, calling you an absolute spendthrift. Li Shimin even threatens to execute your entire 9 generations. Yet you look at the sobbing little Sizzy and speak softly. Your father is the heavenly Kagan, the brightest star in Chinese history. Who knew these words would instantly shatter Ying Zheng's composure? My great Qin has fallen. As soon as the words left your mouth, Ying Zheng drew his Tianwen sword and roared in rage. This must be demonic heresy meant to delude the masses. This is surely an illusion conjured by the remnants of the 6 states. Meanwhile, in the Lijiang Hall of the Great Tang, the atmosphere flipped from anxiety to joy. A moment ago, Li Shimin was throwing a tantrum over his missing daughter. But upon hearing you call him the Governor of Asia and Heavenly Kagan, he blinked in utter disbelief. Li Shimin let out a tactical cough, a hint of smugness flashing in his eyes. He turned his head toward Empress Zhongsun, his tone 30% showing off and 70% playing hard to get. Guanyin Bei, did you hear that? That young man from the future really has a good eye. Empress Zhongsun saw her husband's smug face and could not help but chuckle. Yes, yes. Your Majesty's civil and military achievements are unparalleled throughout the ages. It is only natural for future generations to remember you. Naturally. Li Shimin paced the hall proudly with his hands behind his back. Suddenly he stopped, looking curious. That Governor of Asia, he mentioned. How high of a rank is that? And Heavenly Kagan. At this point in time, though his might shook the 4 corners, he had not yet been honored as the Heavenly Kagan by the surrounding tribes. Hearing this title now from a person of the future felt more refreshing than a bowl of iced plum soup in the middle of summer. Heavenly Kagan. Does that mean I am the sovereign of the whole world? Ha ha ha. What a magnificent title. The more Li Shimin thought about it, the better he felt. Even looking at you through the heavenly screen became much more pleasant. He thought, since this kid is such a smooth talker, I will spare your life for now. Meanwhile, you look at Sitzi's confused but adorable face and continue playing the role of her history tutor. You give her a big thumbs up. Sizzy, you might not know this, but your father, Li Shimin, is a truly legendary emperor. Under his rule, the Great Tang was the most powerful nation in the world. Everyone was proud to be a citizen of the Great Tang. The little princess puffs out her tiny chest. Father is the best. But a second later, she hangs her head in sympathy. She pokes her index fingers together nervously. But father has to read so many scrolls every day. It is really hard work. Looking at this sensible little sweetheart, you can't help but feel emotional. With such a wonderful daughter like this, being an emperor is totally worth it for Li Shimin. All right, let us not worry about that anymore. You stand up and clap your hands. Since we are full and we have finished praising your dad, it is time for some real business. Sizzy tilts her small face up and asks curiously, what is real business? Is it reading books or practicing calligraphy? But you wave your hand grandly. Read books for what? We do not do that during the new year. I am taking you home for the holidays to experience a different kind of new year vibe. But first, we have to change out of that fancy but thin dress. You point to the heavy snow and sub-zero temperatures outside. If you go out dressed like that, you will definitely turn into a little popsicle. Big brother is taking you to buy some new clothes, and it is so warm. Plus, it has big pockets to hold lots of candies. Let us go buy clothes. A girl's longing for new clothes transcends age and even dynasties. Little Sizzy instantly threw her worries to the wind. Her eyes were sparkling with the stars of shopping. Yay. Sizzy wants to wear new clothes. I want a bright red one, just like a big red lantern. No problem. Consider it done. You promised her so readily, but you could not let a grand princess of the Tang dynasty hit the streets in just a thin shirt. You rummaged through your things, and finally pulled a dark blue down jacket out of the wardrobe. Come here, Sizzy, put this on first. We will just make do with this for now. You held up the down jacket, which looked like a giant sack, to the little girl, and wrapped her up in it like a little rice dumpling. After a flurry of activity, only Sitzi's tiny rosy face was left peeking out. Looking at the round ball like Sizzy in front of you, you could not help but burst out laughing. Young master. Little Sizzy flapped around like a clumsy little penguin. This outfit is so heavy, and I feel like a big ball. You led her to the full-length mirror in the hallway. It is a bit heavy, but it is cozy, warm as a hug. Look, is not our little princess just adorable? But when Sizzy saw herself in the mirror, she was completely stunned. She froze on the spot instantly. Her big eyes were wide and perfectly round. Whoa! A scream, a mix of terror and shock, echoed through the room. Sizzy suddenly jumped backward, landing flat on her bottom on the carpet. She pointed a trembling finger at the mirror, her voice shaking with fear. Young master, there is a monster. Inside, there is another Sizzy Cixi trapped inside. And another young master too. Even with the finest bronze mirrors in the Tang Palace, reflections were always blurry. Where could she have ever seen a mirror that showed everything so crystal clear? However, for the women in the Lijiang Hall of the Tang dynasty, this scene was like a nuclear blast to their senses. Clink, the teacup in Empress Zhongxun's hand slipped and fell. She walked quickly to right under the heavenly screen, staring blankly at that mirror. In this world, how can such a divine object exist? Empress Zhongxun's eyes were filled with sheer disbelief. If I could use a mirror like that to do my hair and makeup, what a blessing that would be. At this moment, the concubines in the Lijiang Hall were practically dripping with envy. Heavens, what kind of mirror is that? I would gladly trade 20 years of my life for it. Your Majesty, I want that mirror too. Li Shimon's head was spinning from all the noise, but the shock in his heart was no less than theirs. How can the craftsmanship of the future be so exquisite? That boy actually just leaves a rare treasure worth a whole city just sitting in a corner. This is simply a reckless waste of god-tier items. However, inside Shenyang Palace, Yingzheng's focus was entirely different. He was staring at the down jacket Cixi was wearing, pointing at the cartoon dinosaur pattern on the jacket. His expression turned solemn. What on earth is that? It has sharp horns on its head, and its body is covered in scales. Could it be a dragon? People of future generations actually dare to wear the image of a dragon on their backs. And why does this dragon look so round and chubby? Could it be that the dragons of the future? Is the food really this good? At the same time, you quickly help little Cixi, who is slumped on the floor, to her feet. Don't be afraid, do not be afraid. This is not a demon. It is called a mirror. You smile and wave her little hand back and forth. The little ball of fluff bundled up in the mirror waves back as well. Cixi then inches forward with extreme caution. She reaches out her tiny hand and touches the ice-cold surface of the mirror. She pulls a funny face at the mirror. The Cixi in the mirror also mischievously sticks her tongue out. Fear vanishes in an instant. It is replaced by an endless sense of wonder. My lord, the Cixi inside is so clear. So this is what I look like. I am so pretty. You take a look at your watch. The mall is about to close. All right. Enough admiring yourself. I will let you look as much as you want when we get back. You walk to the entrance and open the door. A gust of cold wind rushes in. Cixi instinctively shrinks her neck back. She tightly grips the corner of your shirt. You take hold of her little hand. Don't be scared. Big brother is taking you to ride in a big flying box. But as soon as they step out of the door, the hallway is pitch black. Cixi's voice is trembling. My lord. Oh no, I am scared. You just give a slight smile. You clear your throat, ahem, following your cough. The dark hallway is instantly bathed in light. Cixi looks up at the little sun that glows automatically. She turns her head back to look at you. My lord, it lit up just because you coughed. What kind of immortal magic is this? Beneath the heavenly screen, Emperor Wu of Han, Lu Che, drops his wine cup in shock. What kind of sorcery is this? No need for fire starters. No need to light a lamp. With just a single cough, brightness arrives on its own. A fanatical light instantly flickers in Lu Che's eyes. Could it be that you are a divine general who can command the light? If the great Han could possess such divine arts, why would we worry about not wiping out the Zongnu? Wouldn't the great quest for immortality be within reach? Meanwhile, in the Ming Palace, Zhu Yanzhong slaps his thigh hard. Holy cow, this lamp can actually understand human speech. It turns on when people come. Does it turn itself off when people leave? That is such a great way to save oil. You lead the still stunned Cixi to the elevator doors. You press the down button. The red numbers begin to skip. You look down and ask with a playful grin, Cixi, are you ready? We are about to experience the joy of teleporting downstairs. Cixi swallows nervously. She stares at those blinking red numbers. My lord. Will this big box really fly? Gasp. The elevator doors in front of them slowly slide open, like a giant steel beast opening its massive maw. What terrifies Cixi the most is, the inside of that beast's mouth is actually brightly lit. Ah! Cixi lets out a scream of terror. She desperately tugs at your trousers. After a moment, she quietly pokes her little head out. Her big eyes are filled with shock, but she absolutely refuses to take a step forward. My lord, don't go in. It is going to eat people. Looking at her appearing as if facing a formidable enemy. I feel both sorry for her and want to laugh. To a little child living thousands of years ago, this is indeed a bit terrifying. You quickly squat down to comfort her. Don't be afraid, this is not a monster. This is a special mechanism of ours called an elevator. It is a big basket responsible for sending us to the ground. Seeing the elevator doors about to close, you simply scoop her into your arms and stride inside. Beneath the heavenly screen, Yingzheng in the Great Qin's Shenyang Palace is breaking into a cold sweat. They are actually going in. This kid has some serious nerves. Lisi, standing aside, turns pale. His voice trembles. Your Majesty, that iron box is suspended in midair. If the rope breaks, won't they be smashed to pieces? In the forbidden city of the Great Ming, Zhu Yanzhong looks at this contraption that carries people up and down. He is so envious, his mouth is almost watering. If the palace had one of these, he would never have to climb those cursed stairs for the morning court again. You hold Sizzy firmly as you stand in the elevator. Ding! The elevator doors slowly close. Immediately after, a slight sensation of weightlessness comes. The elevator begins its rapid descent. Wah, my lord, the ground is moving. We are going to fall down. Little Sizzy is so scared her whole body is shivering. Her two short legs are flailing in the air. You quickly pat her back gently. It is okay, it is okay. This is just the feeling of flying. Suddenly, the elevator slows down. It comes to a steady stop. Ding! The door opens again. Sizzy has just breathed a sigh of relief. Standing at the door is Auntie Wang with her permed curly hair. What is worse is that she is leading a golden retriever even bigger than Sizzy. As soon as little Sizzy lifts her head, she comes eye to eye with this giant creature. In her eyes, this golden long-haired creature is clearly the fierce beast depicted in the books. Ah, there is a giant lion. My lord, run quickly. There is a lion. At this moment in the Lijiang Hall of the Great Tang, Li Shimin leaps up from his dragon chair. Just a moment ago, he was marveling at the wonders of the elevator. But now his eyes are bloodshot with rage. Guards, that is clearly a male lion from the western regions. Meng Fei, if Sizzy is harmed even a little bit, I will dig up your ancestral grave. Empress Jongsun clutches her chest, nearly fainting. Sizzy, my Sizzy, that fierce beast is so close to her. In the Weiyang Palace of the Great Han, Lu Che also stares wide-eyed. The cup in his hand is being crushed with a creaking sound. How is that a dog? It is clearly an auspicious divine beast. People of the future can actually tame such fierce beasts as pets. If that rope is loosened, could not it tear tigers and leopards apart? In the imperial garden of the Qing dynasty, Qianlong looks at the Pekingese frolicking at his feet, then looks at the majestic golden-haired beast on the heavenly screen. Suddenly, he feels his Pekingese is not so special anymore. So this is what people from the future are like. Does everyone possess such extraordinary skills? Time passes. In an instant, the ancients across all timelines are severely spooked by this modern golden retriever. However, the golden retriever in the elevator named Dodo wags its tail upon seeing the child. Oh my, little Meng, is this your child? Auntie Wang looks at little Sizzy, who is trembling in your arms. She is such a looker. She looks just like a little porcelain doll. You quickly turn sideways to shield Sizzy from the golden retriever, explaining with a smile. Auntie Wang, this is my cousin's child. Unexpectedly, Auntie Wang gives you a knowing look. Is that so? She looks quite a bit like you to me. Don't tell me you have secretly had a kid out there, young man. Your head is full of black lines from the awkwardness. You hastily stop her. Auntie Wang, I do not even have a girlfriend yet. Just then, little Sizzy gathers her courage and peeks through the gaps between her fingers. She sees the golden beast tilting its head curiously and obediently at her. The corners of its mouth turn up slightly, as if it were actually smiling. Don't be afraid, little sweetheart. This is Dudu. He is not a big lion. Auntie Wang sees the little girl's fear and pats the golden retriever's large head. Dudu, give your little sister a smile. The golden retriever is extremely cooperative. He immediately leans in with a soft whimper, acting adorable. He even nuzzles your pants with his furry head. You look down and say softly to Sizzy, look, this is a dog. They have the best temperament in the world. The little princess can sense that this big guy really means no harm. And that coat of golden fur, it looks so soft and comfortable. After confirming it is safe, she asks in a tiny milky voice, does it really not eat people? You smile and take her small hand. No, it does not. He only eats pet food. Do you want to try petting him? Sizzy hesitates for a moment, but still gingerly reaches her hand toward the golden retriever's head. The golden retriever narrows his eyes comfortably, and even proactively nudges his head upward against her hand. It is soft and warm, even silkier than the silks in the palace. Sizzy's eyes light up instantly. Her fear vanishes like smoke. She boldly stretches out both hands and ruffles the golden retriever's large head playfully. So soft. He, big doggy, you are so well behaved. The golden retriever feels so good from the petting that he even takes it a step further and licks her palm. She giggles uncontrollably. My lord, its tongue is so warm, it is ticklish. However, in the Lijiang Hall of the Tang dynasty, Li Shimin watches this scene, and he is absolutely bursting with jealousy. She is already petting it. He points at the heavenly screen with a look of disbelief. He is feeling incredibly salty. That is a beast. Sizzy, are not you afraid it will bite you? Li Shimin gnashes his teeth. And what is this about the cousin's child? Since when did you become his cousin's relative? Right then, with a ding, the elevator reaches the first floor. Sizzy leans on your shoulder, waving her little hand at the golden retriever. Bye-bye. Let us play again next time. Next, you take out your phone. You expertly open a ride-hailing app. Let us call a car first. You hold the phone up to Sizzy, pointing at the moving car icon on the screen. Look, our ride will be here very soon. She widened her eyes, watching the moving icons on the screen and exclaiming, "Wow, young master, are you summoning the heavenly soldiers and generals?" You chuckled and pinched her chubby little cheek. This is what they call technology changing lives. As this scene played out, under the heavenly screen in the Shuhan Prime Minister's office, Zhuge Liang's feather fan dropped with a clatter. He stared at that tiny square in your hand, his voice trembling, shrinking the earth into inches, transmitting sound across 1,000 miles, planning within a command tent, and deciding victory from 1,000 miles away. That tiny box actually contains the entire map of Chang'an. It can even show the real-time location of carriages. Zhuge Liang's eyes grew red with emotion. He looked up at the sky and sighed deeply. If my great Han had such a thing, why would I need to worry about failing supplies, or the loss of Jieting? Meanwhile, in the Shenyang Palace of Great Qin, Yingzheng's scalp also went numb. Is this how the future generations communicate? When I want to summon a minister, I have to send riders with decrees, taking half a day just for a round trip. Yet you, a commoner, can make carriages so obedient. Just what kind of sacred artifact is that box? While the ancients watched in shock, you carried Sizzy and pushed through the building's wind curtain. In the wind and snow, a white sedan slowly pulled up to the curb. You pointed at the car. Look, our ride is here. Sizzy poked her little head out from the collar of her down jacket, curiously sizing up this massive object. It has no ears, and no horse's head, only a smooth, shiny body. She nervously clutched your collar, and asked in a tiny milky voice, "Young master, is this white iron box really our mount? It does not have legs, nor a tail. How does it run? And, does it need to eat?" You could not help but burst out laughing. It does not eat. It drinks fuel, and with those 4 wheels, it runs faster than a Fergana horse. Saying this, you opened the back door and sat inside, expertly confirming the code with the driver. Driver, last 4 digits are 8866. Heading to Wanda Plaza. But in the next second, little Sizzy beside you pulled a big surprise. She curiously pressed down on the soft, springy leather seat, then suddenly seemed to remember something. She immediately straightened her little back. That royal upbringing engraved in her bones surfaced. Even though she was scared, she mustered her courage. Folding her hands in front of her, she bowed her head slightly. Then, using the most standard palace etiquette, she said something in her crisp voice that left you petrified on the spot. "Greetings, Uncle Driver. I am Sizzy. I wish you peace and health. Could I trouble you to take me and the young master to that Wanda Plaza?" Silence. Total silence. After 3 full seconds, the driver's hand on the steering wheel actually trembled. He looked through the rearview mirror at the doll-like little Sizzy. "Oh my goodness, young man, your daughter is way too precious. I have been driving for years, and I have never seen such a well-mannered little passenger." You rubbed your nose awkwardly, trying to smooth things over. Ahem. Pardon her, sir. She has had a very strict upbringing. She loves watching period dramas. She is a bit too immersed in the roles. But on the other side of the heavenly screen, the Lijiang Hall of the Tang dynasty has completely exploded. Li Shimon's face was grim. He was glaring at that driver. It looked as if fire was about to spray from his nostrils. Impudence. This mere carriage driver. By what right or merit does he deserve this? Sizzy is the legitimate eldest princess of the Great Tang. To think she would actually pay her respects to a common driver. The jade scepter in his hand was nearly crushed to pieces. Usually, he has to coax her for ages just to hear her call him father once. Yet this driver has it easy. She calls him uncle the moment they meet. He was fuming. However, Empress Jongsun offered a gentle consolation. "My lord, as the saying goes, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Our little Sizzy is showing her intelligence. Look at her etiquette. It does not lack the grace of our imperial family at all." At the same time, in the Eastern Palace, Li Chengxian and Li Tai were pointing at the heavenly screen in amazement. "Big brother, look, when that round wheel turns, the iron box makes a turn too. Could it be an improved version of the south-pointing carriage?" Princess Changla, on the other hand, was full of admiration for that seat. "It looks much softer than the cushions in our carriages." The car slowly started. With a low hum, a strong sense of acceleration pushed them back into their seats. Little Sizzy was startled. She grabbed onto you tightly. She watched the buildings outside the window flying backward. Her big eyes were filled with pure wonder. "Wow, it is so fast, my lord. This iron box is even faster than father's horses. And it is not bumpy at all. You should know that in the Tang dynasty, even the emperor's imperial carriage would rattle your bones loose at high speeds. But now, this iron box is as fast as lightning. Yet it is as steady as sitting on a couch." You explained with a smile. "This car has shock absorbers. The asphalt road is also very smooth. Wait until we get on the highway. That is what I call fast. Who would have thought the driver was a real chatterbox, chuckling as he chimed in. You bet. This is a Volkswagen. German engineering. The chassis is rock solid. However, his tone shifted. He suddenly turned his head and asked you suspiciously. By the way, young man, your daughter's accent does not sound like she is from around here. And that talk about horses. Who still rides horses these days? The driver scrutinized you curiously through the rearview mirror. Your heart skipped a beat. You quickly pulled out the universal excuse you had prepared. You have got a sharp eye, sir. Since the Lunar New Year is coming up, I went back to my hometown specifically to bring her here. She has been living in a remote village in the mountains. It is quite isolated there. She has not seen much of the world. Back in the village, she mostly just rides donkeys, or drives horse carriages and things like that. Sure enough, when the driver heard this, a hint of pity immediately appeared in his eyes. Oh dear, so she is a left-behind child from the countryside. No wonder. I was thinking the way this kid talks makes my heart ache for her. Although Sissy did not understand what a left-behind child was, she could sense his kindness. She blinked her big eyes. Thank you, Uncle. Uncle's car is amazing. It is even faster than the general's horse. Meanwhile, Ying-jung watched the scenery recede at high speed and fell into deep thought. He pointed at the pitch-black surface on the heavenly screen, a road as smooth and flat as a mirror. He turned to Li Si and asked, Li Si, what material is that road paved with? If the Great Qin's imperial highways could be paved with such a thing, would not our iron cavalry be able to reach the Xiongnu's royal court in a single day? Li Si was breaking out in a cold sweat. His hands, holding the bamboo slips, were trembling. Your servant has never heard of such a thing before. The craftsmen of the future truly possess the power of gods and ghosts. Meanwhile, in the Weiyang Palace of the Great Han, Huo Qubing was practically drooling with envy. Uncle, look at those 4 wheels. It can run on its own without needing horses to pull it. Give me 500 of those, and I will charge into the northern desert, and drag the Chanyu back to dance for his majesty. The car's speed on the elevated highway suddenly increased. The endless forest of steel outside the window left little Sizzy speechless with awe. Wow, that house is so tall. It is about to poke a hole in the sky. Is that where the immortals live? You patiently explained that it was just an office building, a place where people go to work. Why do they have to climb so high just to work? You could only make up some nonsense. Maybe because the higher you stand, the further you can see. Perhaps the atmosphere in the car was too quiet. As the driver tapped a button on the large center console screen, suddenly the thunderous prelude of gongs and drums filled the car. Clang clang dong clang. Immediately after, a festive male voice resonated throughout the vehicle. Congratulations on your prosperity. May the best things come your way, and the bad things stay away. Courtesy costs nothing. This sudden noise gave little Sizzy a real fright. The little girl reflexively pulled her head back, looking around in panic for the source. Who is talking? She pointed at the small speaker on the car door, her wide eyes full of alarm. Young master, someone is hiding in the box. Right there is a tiny person hiding inside. You forced a smile and explained, no one is hiding in there. This is a phonograph. It is like putting your father's voice into a jar. Whenever you want to hear it, you just open it up. The driver turned back and laughed. How about it? This song has quite a kick, does not it? In China, it is not even Chinese New Year if you do not hear this song. As she listened, the little girl found it was not so scary after all. In fact, it was so festive she felt like dancing along. At the same time, in the Lijiang Hall of the Great Tang, Li Shimon's brow was furrowed tight. Congratulations on your prosperity. What kind of vulgar noise is this? The lyrics are so blunt. Nothing but talk of making money, and red envelopes. In his eyes, of the 4 social classes, merchants held the lowest status. Talking about money was the height of tackiness. Court music should be grand and majestic like, the Prince of Qin breaks the battle array, who starts a song by wishing you wealth. However, Cheng Yaojin, standing nearby, was listening with great relish. He could not help but slap his thigh to the beat. Good. Excellent. Your Majesty. Old Cheng here thinks this song is a banger. It is so joyful. Isn't New Year's all about being happy and getting rich? This song is catchy and easy to understand. I want to strike it rich too. Li Shimin looked at his hopeless old brothers and rubbed his temples in resignation. Meanwhile, inside the forbidden city of the Great Ming, Zhu Yanzheng beamed with a wide joyful grin. Good. This song is excellent. I have always loved tunes like this. Making a fortune is a wonderful thing. The people prospering, and the national treasury overflowing. He immediately pointed at the heavenly screen and gave an order to Crown Prince Zhu Biao. Biao, listen up. Write this down. Tell the Bureau of Music to start rehearsing right away. During the new year, I want them to sing this May You Prosper for me. Under the heavenly screen, in the Tang dynasty, Empress Zhongsun was laughing so hard she was trembling like a delicate branch. Look, Erlang, our little girl is so adorable. Everyone just loves her. We have arrived. Take care, you too. The driver uncle turned back and waved a warm goodbye. You opened the car door and carried little Sizzy out. Beneath the heavenly screen, in the Lijung Hall of Tang, Li Shimon's brow instantly furrowed into a deep knot. He pointed to where you and Sizzy were standing on the heavenly screen. His gaze became incredibly solemn. Is this the marketplace of the future? It is. Far too bright, is it not? The image on the heavenly screen shifted toward that massive Wanda Plaza. Boom. The minds of all the ancients went completely blank. This is not just bright. This is a kaleidoscopic explosion of light. Radiant and shimmering with every color imaginable. It is thousands of times brighter than the clearest noon in the Tang dynasty. The giant glass walls were embedded with countless flashing LED strips. They morphed into festive, celebratory patterns. The trees around the plaza were draped in red lanterns and strings of colorful lights. They looked like fiery trees with silver flowers rising from the earth. Li Shimon's eyes nearly popped out of his head, pointing at the plaza packed with a sea of people on the screen. His breathing became rapid and shallow. Unexpectedly, they are all wearing bright yellows and deep reds, colors reserved for royalty and nobles. He stared at the healthy, glowing faces of the passers-by. That is the ultimate symbol of a people who are well-fed and well-clothed. Every single face was adorned with a smile. They were carrying bags of all sizes, big and small. This overwhelming sense of prosperity. It does not come from the luxury of a palace. It is built upon the wealth and abundance of every common citizen. Li Shimon murmured to himself. His eyes began to well up with heat. Compared to this, my reign of Jingguan seems so incredibly impoverished. Empress Jongsun pointed at several stylishly dressed girls and gasped. Erlang, look quickly. The women of the future live with such grace and confidence. They do not even need to wear veils. Before her voice even faded, Princess Gaoyang was already screaming while pointing at a giant teddy bear. Big sister, that big bear is 10,000 times better than the cloth tigers in our palace. I want one too. Li Lizzie, meanwhile, was mesmerized by the sparkling glass display windows. How is this a marketplace? This is clearly the moon palace of the heavens. On the other side, in the Shenyang Palace of Great Qin, Yingzheng stood with his hands behind his back. The shock in his eyes could no longer be concealed. So many people gathered together, and yet there is no army maintaining order. Are they not afraid of a riot? Immediately after, his gaze landed on a massive LED billboard. A celebrity's face was dozens of times larger than a real person's, and it was actually moving. Yingzheng's pupils shook with tremors. Why are there people moving inside that wall? Are humans sealed within the walls? Or is an immortal showing us the way? Li Si, standing beside him, was so terrified his legs gave out. He kept muttering under his breath. A miracle. This is absolutely a miracle. Meanwhile, the little girl looked up and was completely spellbound. To a child from ancient times, this is quite literally a visual overload from a higher dimension. Wow, young master, it is so beautiful here. So many twinkling lights. Suddenly, Sizzy points at a 3-story high inflatable model in the plaza, its face full of festive joy, holding a giant gold ingot, with a head that bobs up and down. Young master, what is that? You explain with a smile. That is the god of wealth. He is the deity in charge of money. During New Year, everyone prays to him for a prosperous year ahead. The god of wealth. Sizzy blinks her big eyes. So that fortune the taxi driver mentioned is requested from this deity. You smile and pinch her little cheek. Exactly. Our Sizzy is so sharp. After saying that, you lead her through the crowd toward the giant revolving doors. Under the heavenly screen, Zhu Yanzhong, in the forbidden city of the Ming dynasty, sees that inflatable god of wealth. His eyes nearly pop out of his head. Good heavens. Are the people of the future this extravagant when worshipping gods? Empress Ma teases him with a smile. Changba, this shows the commoners of the future live well. They have something to look forward to. Zhu Yanzhong huffs, but his eyes can't hide his envy. If only our great Ming could be this lively someday. The next second, you and Sizzy step into the mall. A wave of warm, fragrant air instantly hits your faces. The warmth here is quite intense. Sizzy's jaw drops in amazement. Wow, young master, why is it so warm and cozy here? You take off her hat while explaining. There is central air conditioning in here. It keeps the whole mall nice and toasty. The glittering jewelry counters on the first floor immediately dazzle Sizzy. In the Tang dynasty, jewels are rare treasures locked away in chests. But here, they are simply displayed in row after row inside the glass cases. Sizzy points at a large diamond ring, her eyes full of curiosity. Young master, those stones are so bright. Are they luminous pearls? You glance at the price tag. Those are called diamonds. They are not luminous pearls, but they certainly are not cheap either. Just as you are about to take her to the second floor for clothes, a heavenly aroma of butter, caramel, and malt wafts into your noses. faces. Gurgle, gurgle. Sitsy's stomach lets out an unceremonious protest. The little girl's face turns beet red instantly. She covers her belly with both hands and lowers her head sheepishly. Young master, my tummy is being naughty again. You look up and see a bakery decorated in pink nearby. Through the glass window, it is filled with breads and cakes that look like works of art. You wave your hand grandly, changing course immediately. Let us go. Food is the first necessity of the people. Let us go fill up that growling little tummy of yours first. You lead Sissy straight toward the bakery. Meanwhile, the royal chefs in the Tang Dynasty Imperial Kitchen watch the screen. Every single one of them stops what they are doing. Is that an eatery? How is it even cleaner than our Imperial Kitchen? Are those things really food? How can they look as beautiful as flowers? In the Tang Dynasty, Li Shimon's brow is furrowed in deep thought. That is food. Could it be a golden fried pastry mountain? Or perhaps a Hu-style pancake? But he can't wrap his head around it. How can a pancake be so fluffy? It looks as soft and airy as a cloud. Meanwhile, Emperor Qianlong gazes at the strawberry cake on the heavenly screen. His mouth starts watering uncontrollably. What on earth is this? I have tasted delicacies from all over the world, yet I have never seen this. He shouts toward the palace doors. He Shen. Go find out immediately. Which province sent this tribute? It looks even sweeter and more fragrant than Sashima. At this moment, you have already led Sissy into the bakery. A rich, heavenly aroma wafts toward you. You pick up a tray and a pair of tongs from the entrance and hand them to Sissy. Here, Sissy, pick whichever one you want to eat. Big brother's treat today. Eat until you are full. Sissy nods with an adorable, serious expression. I will do my best. The donuts in the first display case make Sissy's eyes go wide. Each one is round and golden, drizzled with strawberry glaze, and sprinkled with colorful sugar needles. She presses her little face tightly against the glass. Her nose is even squished sideways. Wow, young master, is this a jade pendant? How can there be a pink jade pendant? And it smells so good. You smile and explain, that is not a jade pendant. It is called a donut. It is made of flour. That pink stuff on top is sugar. It is very sweet. Want to try one? Yes, I want to eat the sweet donut. Sissy unsteadily reaches out with the tongs. She picks up a pink donut and places it on the tray. Heave ho, got you, little pink ring. Further ahead is a row of flat dirty buns. They are covered in cocoa powder, looking like they just rolled out of a pile of coal. Sissy immediately wrinkles her nose in distaste. Young master, what is this? Why is it so flat? Did it fall on the ground? It is dirty, we can't eat it. You burst out laughing. This is called a dirty bun. Even though it looks like that, it is actually chocolate powder. It is delicious. However, when the strawberry cream croissant appears, Sitsy's eyes instantly turn into heart shapes. With its crispy crust, snow-white cream, and a bright red strawberry on top, she points at the croissant. So excited, she starts to stutter. Young master, that thing, what is that white stuff? Is it a cloud? And that red fruit? It is even bigger than the ones father gave me. You look at the tempting cream and explain. That white stuff is cream. It is made from milk. It tastes like snow, melting the moment it hits your tongue. That red one is a strawberry. Go ahead and grab 2 of them. Come on, we definitely have to get this one. Sissy stared at the pastries on the tray, which looked like delicate works of art. She could not help but gulp in anticipation. Back in the Tang Dynasty, even the finest dessert, Crispy Mountain, was incredibly difficult to make. But here, these beautiful clouds, were just sitting there for anyone to pick as they pleased. In the Lijiang Hall of the Tang Dynasty, Li Shimon stared at that strawberry cream croissant. He finally could not hold back his hunger anymore. He turned to Empress Zhongsun, his voice laced with a hint of jealousy. Guanyin, do you think that cream really melts in the mouth just like snow? Isn't milk usually just a raw-smelling drink? How can they make something so pure, white, and fluffy out of it? And those strawberries, it is the dead of winter right now. Is the future world truly in a state of eternal spring, where fruits and melons never stop growing? Empress Zhongsun let out a soft sigh. That exquisite bread is simply on a whole different level compared to the palace pastries. Your Majesty, I feel that our imperial kitchens really need to do some serious soul-searching. If only Sissy could bring one back for us to taste. Even just a single bite would be wonderful. At the same time, in the forbidden city of the Ming Dynasty, Zhu Yanzhong was also smacking his lips. He squinted at the dirty bread, looking deep in thought. It looks so ordinary. Just chocolate. What kind of gizmo is that exactly? However, a second later, his eyes were drawn to the donuts, with so much sugar sprinkled on top. How much money must that cost? In ancient times, sugar was as good as hard currency. Yet in the future, they scatter sugar like it is worth nothing at all. Empress Ma, I also want to eat that cream thing. I want to have a taste, to see what it is like. Suddenly, the sesame flatbread in his hand did not seem so tasty anymore. At the checkout counter, Sissy looked at the tray piled high with bread. She looked up at you with a worried expression. My lord, we took so much. Will it be very expensive? Father said, we must not be wasteful. Brother only has a few copper coins. The little girl actually reached into her empty sleeves to search for money. You quickly pressed down on her tiny hand. Silly girl, big brother has plenty. Immediately after, you pulled out your phone and aimed it at the scanner. Beep. Payment successful. This magical scene left all the ancient people under the heavenly screen momentarily stunned. You picked up the full tray, and with Sizzy following like a little shadow, you found a round table by the window. Here we go. My little princess, please take the seat of honor. You pulled out a soft leather sofa chair that looked incredibly comfy, and lifted Sizzy, who was bundled up like a blue penguin, onto it. Sizzy dangled her short legs, which could not even reach the floor, her wide eyes fixed on the strawberry cream croissant on the table. Surprisingly, she did not dare to eat it, simply because the cloud bread was just too beautiful. You could not resist gently pinching her little nose, smiling as you tucked the croissant, which was bigger than her face, into her hands. Go on, eat up, otherwise, this little strawberry is going to start crying. Sizzy held it like a rare treasure, leaning in to take a sniff. The scent of milk and fruit instantly won her over. Finally, she opened her little mouth and took a big bite. Crunch. The fluffy, crispy crust shattered between her teeth. Immediately, the dense and silky cream exploded, filling her entire mouth. Little Sitsy's eyes widened into perfect circles. It felt as if countless little stars were bursting over her head. So soft. She cried out with her mouth full. The corners of her lips were covered in cream. He, young master, this cloud is even softer than the crispy mountains, and sweeter than honey nectar. Looking at her intoxicated expression, you felt a huge sense of accomplishment. Then you picked up a bright red strawberry and handed it to her. Who would have thought she would take another big gulp? The sweet and sour juice burst inside, perfectly balancing the richness of the cream. It made her let out another gasp of wonder. Wow, this little fruit is delicious too. Gulp. A loud swallowing sound echoed through the Lijiang Hall. Li Shimin, the great emperor, awkwardly clutched his stomach. He turned his head and looked longingly at Empress Zhongsun, who was also swallowing hard. Guanyin, tell me, what exactly does that cream taste like? It looks like goat's milk, but how can it be shaped into clouds? Empress Zhongsun silently set down her bowl of bird's nest soup. Compared to the cloud bread before her eyes, this top-tier imperial delicacy suddenly tasted bland. She let out a long sigh. I do not know, Your Majesty, but judging by our daughter's reaction, it must be a supreme delicacy of the mortal world. Just then, Li Shimin's imperial decree spread throughout the palace. Order the imperial kitchen to replicate the cloud bread immediately. If you fail to produce it, your entire year's salary will be forfeited. The imperial kitchen instantly fell into utter chaos. The head eunuch fell to his knees, wailing on the spot. Your Majesty, your servant cannot do this. What on earth is that white fluffy stuff? In the forbidden city of the Ming dynasty, Zhu Yanzhong looked at the heavenly screen with a cold huff. He pointed at that flat, messy, dirty bread in your hand. HMPH. Can that charcoal-like thing even be eaten? It looks like something dug out from a furnace pit. Talk about having an intense palate. While Zhu Yanzhong was skeptical, Crown Prince Zhu Biao smiled from the side. Father, that should not be charcoal. I suspect it might be a special kind of spice. Before he could finish, you in the heavenly screen took a massive bite of the dirty bread. Instantly, your nose was covered in cocoa powder. You looked absolutely ridiculous. Asterisk peeved, Zhu Yanzhong sprayed a mouthful of tea. Ha, this kid. He turned himself into a calico cat just by eating. Of course, you did not know you were being mocked by the Ming Emperor. You were still busy wiping the little girl's face. The girl's face was covered in cream, with a little dollop right on the tip of her nose. You pulled out a tissue and gently wiped it for her. Unexpectedly, the little girl blinked and pointed at the dirty bread in your hand. Young master, that thing, is it yummy too? You gave a mischievous grin and handed the dirty bread over. Here, take a bite, but if you eat this, you will turn into a little dirty cat. Sizzy is not afraid. She leans in curiously and takes a big bite. The rich, bittersweet taste of chocolate blends with the sweetness of the bread exploding on her tongue. It is a little bitter, but the more she chews, the more fragrant it becomes. Wow, this is delicious too. She chews happily, but when she looks up, her little mouth is completely ringed with chocolate. That fair, delicate little face looks exactly like a baby panda that stumbled into a coal pile. You burst out laughing. You quickly whip out your phone and snap a burst of photos of her. Little Sizzy just giggles along with you, looking silly. My lord, what are you laughing at? Does Sizzy look very pretty right now? You stifle your laughter. You turn the phone screen toward her to use as a mirror. Sizzy leans in for a closer look. Oh, a high-pitched babyish scream rings out. Monster. It is another monster. It turned Sizzy ugly. She dives headfirst into your arms, smearing chocolate powder all over your down jacket. Laughing until tears nearly come, you quickly comfort her. Don't cry, do not cry. You are still very cute. Come on, big brother will take you to get cleaned up. After eating and drinking her fill, Sissy blushes and whispers softly, my lord, I need to use the powder room. You realize what she means instantly. You lead her toward the mall's high-end restroom. You take her into the nursery room. You lift Sissy up onto a small stool, so she can just reach the faucet, but she blinks her eyes in confusion. Looking at the smooth silver pipe, she is completely baffled. There is no handle. She is stunned. How does the water come out? So, she tentatively shouts at the faucet. Ahem. Come out. The faucet does not react at all. Sissy looks at you dejectedly. My lord, it won't listen. It won't give Sissy any water. You take her small hand. You stretch it out under the faucet's sensor. No need to shout. Just reach out your hand. As soon as you finish speaking, splash. Warm water instantly gushes out from the metal pipe. Oh, startled, Sissy jerks her hand back. The flow stops instantly. Ah, her eyes widen. She cautiously reaches out again. Splash, it is back. Wow, my lord. It recognizes Sissy's hands. Is this divine magic? The little girl starts having the time of her life. Reaching in, pulling back. She is playing with pure joy. Meanwhile, beneath the heavenly screen, Emperor Wu of Han, Luce, stands up in shock. Could this be the legendary art of the dragon's breath? To think future craftsmen could imprison a dragon king inside a tiny metal pipe. If this art could be used to irrigate the farmlands, why would we ever fear drought again? Beside him, Wei Qing is also staring in disbelief. These people of the future. It truly possesses an inscrutable, godlike power. In Shenyang Palace, Li Si could barely keep his brush steady. Automatic induction. This has already surpassed the realm of mohist mechanical arts. This iron pipe. It has a soul of its own. Yingzheng stared intently at the rising steam. That is warmth. The latrines of the later generations actually provide hot water at all times. I am truly envious. You pulled out a paper towel and helped her wipe her hands. Then you pointed at the automatic hand dryer on the wall. Come here, put your hands in there to blow them dry. This is a hand dryer. It is nice and warm. Little Sissy was now full of trust toward these contraptions. Without any guard, she stretched her tiny hands under the air outlet. The moment her hands went inside, whoosh, a massive violent blast of hot air erupted, along with a roaring sound. Ah, Sissy was scared out of her wits, and pulled her hands back instantly. She clung tightly to your waist. Wah, there is a monster. That white box eats hands. It roared at me. You quickly held the trembling Sissy close in your arms. You patted her back to comfort her. Don't be scared, do not be scared. That is just warm wind. It just wants to help dry your hands. It is just a bit loud, that is all. But Sissy was crying her eyes out, looking pitiful. Liar, it was so loud, and so hot. I want to go home. Seeing his daughter scared to tears, Li Shimin instantly flew into a rage. How dare you? What kind of demonic thing is that? How dare it frighten my daughter? Meng Fei, how dare you take my daughter to such a dangerous place? I will have your head. Empress Zhongsun was also heartbroken, tears streaming down her face. Don't be afraid, my child. Mother is here. Meanwhile in Shenyang Palace, Yingzheng's face was solemn. He stared fixedly at that white box. His eyes flickered with realization. This wind, it can be created out of thin air, and it is hot wind at that. Li Si, take note of this. Yingzheng commanded. If this thing is used for smelting iron, could our bellows not be completely replaced? The weapons of my great chin would surely become even sharper. Li Si recorded everything while wiping sweat from his brow. Your Majesty is truly wise. This is indeed a divine tool for metallurgy. At this moment, you were carrying Sissy, preparing to head to the second floor. A massive guy with his head down, scrolling on his phone, almost crashed right into you. Whoa, what the heck? The fat guy looked up. His eyes instantly bugged out like copper bells. Holy crap. Old Meng, you kid. Did you rise from the dead? You did not expect to run into your college buddy, Dang Kai, here. You laughed and gave him a playful punch. What do you mean, rise from the dead? I have just been out of touch for 2 years. However, Sun Fatty ignored you. His gaze was fixed on Sissy in your arms. He looked at Sissy, then he looked back at you. I will be damned. Meng Fei, did you disappear for 2 years just to go off and have a kid? You do not even have a girlfriend. Where the heck did this daughter come from? As soon as these words were spoken, Li Shimin's heart, which had just calmed down, instantly flared up again. Bullshit. That is my daughter. He roared in rage, threatening to cut off Sun Fatty's tongue. Empress Zhongsun hurriedly tried to soothe him. Erlang, stay calm. That is the future world. You can't reach him. Sun Fatty pointed a trembling finger at Meng Fei. Dude, we have only been graduated for 2 years. This kid looks at least 3 or 4 years old, right? I knew it. No wonder you never came back to the dorm junior year. Turns out you were busy making a human. Your face was covered in frustration lines. Get lost, get lost, get lost. This is my cousin's kid. She is a relative, okay. Son Fatty looked skeptical. He leaned in close to look at Sitsy's face. The little princess was already shaken, and suddenly seeing Son Fatty's fleshy face, she cried out in fear and buried her head in your neck, leaving only a pair of watery, big eyes visible, timidly peeking at this mountain-like monster. Boo-hoo. My lord, there is a monster, a piggy monster, under the heavenly screen. When Li Shimin heard the words piggy monster, he felt as refreshed as drinking iced plum soup. Cool to the core, absolutely delightful. He slapped his thigh and laughed until tears came out. Good, well said. The name Piggy Monster is simply perfect. Ying Zheng kept a straight face, pointing at Son Fatty on the heavenly screen and asking Cheng Yaojin, Deji, look at that fatty. Does not he look a bit like you? Cheng Yaojin's jaw dropped. He looked at the fatty, then looked at his own solid muscles, and flexed. I am strong and sturdy. That fellow is just flabby. Meanwhile, Emperor Wu of Han, Lu Che, stared at the milk tea in the fatty's hand, his brow furrowed. What is that? Why is he using a tube to suck it? Wei Qing speculated. Your Majesty. Perhaps it is medicine. Look at how massive that fatty's body is. He must be suffering from some disease of the wealthy. Back at the mall, Son Fatty's heart was melted by the little princess's cute voice. Oh my gosh, that adorable voice. He rubbed his hands together, wearing the smile of a weird uncle. Come here, little precious. Uncle is a good person. I am your brother's best friend. Call me Uncle Kai. Sissy hesitated for a moment. She poked her little head out and asked tentatively in a tiny voice. Fatty, uncle, ah, that is right. Son Fatty slapped his thigh again. I have got to give you a welcome gift. He looked left and right, saw a candy store nearby, and immediately ran inside laughing. In less than half a minute, he came running back holding a rainbow lollipop larger than the little princess's face. Here. My little niece, this is a gold medal from Uncle. Sissy stared at the giant candy in front of her. Piggy demons are actually good monsters. She looks up at you, seeking your approval. You nod helplessly. Go ahead, take it. If the fatty is buying, it would be a waste not to take it. The little princess finally hugs the giant lollipop happily and says sweetly, Thank you, Fatty Uncle. Fatty Uncle is a great person. Son Fatty turns to you and says, Old Meng, you have brought along a little mythical beast that is an expert at freeloading, have not you? You give a proud snort. You bet. By the way, what are you doing here? Son Fatty takes a sip of his milk tea, with a look of utter despair on his face. Sigh, don't even get me started. My mom forced me to come here for a blind date. She said the girl is a career elite and looks like an absolute goddess. You look him up and down, noting his t-shirt printed with an anime girl, his baggy down jacket, and a cream stain on one corner, then remark, You might be a hidden gem with potential, but right now you look more like a trash stock. Get lost. Son Fatty laughs and playfully throws a punch at you, while you two are joking around. Little Sissy is holding the lollipop, carefully taking a tiny lick. Slurp. The little one narrows her eyes in pure bliss. On the other side of the heavenly screen, the atmosphere in the great Tang palace hits freezing point. Even though his daughter is happy, Li Shimon's heart is bubbling over with jealousy. He huffs coldly. That fatty at least has some common sense. He knows to present good things to the princess with due respect. Empress Jongsun asks Li Shimon curiously, This blind date the fatty mentioned, what does it actually mean? Li Shimin explains it is likely a way for future men and women to meet and evaluate each other, where they even nitpick about family backgrounds and conditions. This completely subverts his understanding. Women of the future actually have such great autonomy. They can even reject someone if they do not like what they see. Then Li Shimin's tone shifts. He points at Son Fatty's sloppy appearance and scoffs. With a manner like his, what kind of girl could possibly take an interest in him? Son Fatty checks the time and says he has to head to his blind date. He turns to say goodbye. You carry the little princess toward the children's clothing section on the second floor. The second floor is practically a child's paradise. Colorful clothes, and shoes that light up everything one could imagine. She squeals with excitement, pointing here and there, but just as you two pass a high-end women's boutique, a familiar voice suddenly rings out from behind you. Meng Fei. You stop in your tracks abruptly. This voice is far too familiar. It belongs to your first love, the voice of Su Zhenya, the girl who was your white moonlight. You take a deep breath, and slowly turn around. She is wearing a cream-colored cashmere coat, with soft, wavy long hair, sophisticated and elegant. There is a hint of mild surprise in her eyes, and a smile she can't quite hide. Su Zhenya walks over in her high heels. It really is you. I thought I would mistaken you for someone else. You look at her, someone so familiar yet now a stranger. A mix of emotions floods your heart, but you manage a calm smile. Long time no see. I heard you were studying abroad. When did you get back? She gently tucks a stray strand of hair behind her ear. Her movements are as graceful as ever. I came back last week, to spend the Lunar New Year, and to handle some personal matters. Her gaze falls upon the little princess in your arms. Her gaze paused for a moment. She pointed at Sizzy. This is your daughter. You hurriedly waved your hands and pulled out the ultimate excuse. I do not even have a girlfriend. This is the child of a distant cousin of mine. The disappointment in Su Zhenya's eyes vanished instantly. A gentle smile appeared on her face. Oh, so she is your cousin's kid. She is absolutely adorable, is not she? She reached out and playfully tickled Sitzi's chin. Hello there, little Sizzy. My name is Su Zhenya. You can call me Big Sister. Unexpectedly, Sizzy moved her lollipop aside, revealing a small face covered in sticky sugar stains. Hello, pretty sister. Sister, are you a fairy who descended from the heavens? You look just like the goddess Chang'er in my mother's paintings. This sudden, overwhelming flattery was simply top tier. Su Zhenya could not help but let out a soft giggle. She glanced up at you, her smile growing even wider. Meng Fei, this little niece of yours is quite the smooth talker. She is way better with words than a wooden block like you. You scratched your head in awkwardness, only able to give a dry cough. Well, out of the mouths of babes, right? Li Shimin, watching Su Zhenya through the screen, had his eyes light up instantly. He stroked his beard and nodded in approval. This woman possesses a certain regal grace. And she even praised Sizzy. She has good taste. However, Empress Zhongsun saw deeper into the situation. She stared at the way Su Zhenya looked at you, smiling meaningfully. Erlang, have not you noticed? The way this girl looks at Meng Fei is far from simple. Look at her sigh of relief when she heard Meng Fei has no daughter. These two definitely have a history together. She continued, this girl is well educated and polite, and she is gentle with Sizzy as well. If she were to become Meng Fei's wife, it would not be a bad choice. Upon hearing this, Li Shimin's brows furrowed instantly. He gave a cold snort, thinking of being Meng Fei's wife. That depends on whether I allow it or not. Meanwhile, inside the forbidden city of the Ming dynasty, Zhu Yanzheng's focus was on something else entirely. He asked in confusion, studying abroad, is that going to another country to learn? Our great Ming is the celestial empire. Why would one need to learn from the barbarians? Crown Prince Zhu Biao quickly explained, Father Emperor, technology is highly advanced in the future. Learning from others to improve ourselves is a wise strategy. Zhu Yanzheng huffed, but found himself unable to argue. Su Zhenya glanced at the ill-fitting blue down jacket on Sizzy. Meng Fei, is this really your sense of style? Taking such a beautiful little girl and wrapping her up like a chubby little blue penguin. Your face turned red instantly. We were in a rush to head out. I was just about to buy her something new. You hurriedly pointed to a children's clothing store nearby, filled with bright red and green outfits. I think that shop looks pretty good. Look at that red padded jacket. It even has large peonies embroidered on it. How festive. Su Zhenya went silent. Sizzy also went silent. A second later, Su Zhenya took a deep breath. Meng Fei, it has been 2 years, and your aesthetic taste is still as consistent as ever. Su Zhenya helplessly takes Sitzi's little hand from your arms. All right, enough. Stop messing with the child's style. You do not understand a thing about girls' clothes. As she speaks, she gently says to Sizzy, Sizzy, how about Big Sister takes you to buy some pretty clothes? Sizzy glances at you, then looks back at Su Zhenya, and decisively chooses to defect. She nods her head like a little chick pecking rice, tightly grabbing Su Zhenya's hand. Yes, yes, the one my lord pointed out looks like a big worm. Sizzy does not want that at all. You are instantly left speechless. That really hurts, kid. Now that there is a pretty big sister. She abandons her young master in a heartbeat. Princess Changla Li Lizzie claps her hands in excitement. Good, that big sister is absolutely right. Meng Fei's taste is simply terrifying. She shouts excitedly. Thank goodness that big sister is there. Our Tang dynasty princess must never dress like a tacky New Year's folk painting doll. Unexpectedly, Emperor Wanli of the Ming dynasty felt it was quite a pity. I think that bright red one looks quite nice. It is so festive. He mumbles with a confused look. Why do people in the future like such plain colors? There is no spark at all. Soon after, Su Zhenya and Sizzy walk into a high-end children's boutique. Sizzy points at a pink hoodie, her eyes sparkling, but Su Zhenya smiles and points to a more stunning red neo-Chinese outfit nearby. It has a traditional charm, yet it is playful and warm. It instantly captures Sitzi's heart. You follow behind them, watching the two of them from the back. Su Zhenya's gentle grace and Sitzi's adorable charm actually create an indescribable sense of harmony. Doesn't this look exactly like a family of 3? You quickly shake your head. She is just being kind and helping out. Don't get ahead of yourself. Just then, a shop assistant with exquisite makeup walks over. As soon as she opens her mouth, she drops a bombshell on you. Sir, madam, welcome. Your daughter is so adorable. She is practically the spitting image of her mother. Your brain goes into a total buzz. Madam, the daughter, what on earth is she talking about? You quickly wave your hands, preparing to explain. You have got it wrong. We are just. Before you can finish, Su Zhenya suddenly tugs gently on your sleeve. You are stunned, and turn to look at Su Zhenya. There is not a hint of awkwardness on her face. Instead, there is a faint, barely noticeable blush. To your surprise, she leans into your ear, whispering in a voice only the two of you can hear. Don't explain explain. I have a membership here. Parent-child outfits or family packages usually come with a discount. The next second, Su Zhenya turns to the assistant with an even brighter smile. Thank you for the compliment. Please get that red New Year outfit in a size that fits her. Looking at her calm and composed manner, she really is a brilliant returnee. This quick thinking is amazing. However, why does being called madam sound so pleasant to the ear? Your face turns red, and you quickly squash that thought. Li Shimin was already jealous because Su Zhenya was rushing to pick clothes for Sizzy. When he heard the assistant say spitting image, his face instantly turned sour. And just like that, he joins the fray. Ha ha ha. Those words really hit home for me. He strokes his chin, sizing up you and Su Zhenya. He actually thinks you two have that married couple look. He even starts to wonder if you could actually marry this elegant and brilliant Su Zhenya and have her be Sitzi's godmother. That would not be a bad deal at all. Beside him, Empress Jongsun is also liking Su Zhenya more and more. Not only does she praise her intelligence and her ability to smooth over awkward situations, but she also falls in love at first sight with the red New Year's outfit she picked for Sizzy. Erlang, look, those clothes are festive without being tacky. The hat is as lovely as a floating cloud. She feels that a woman who is so well educated and knows how to care for a child, if she truly becomes your wife, then Sizzy will truly have someone to dote on her. Even Princess Li Lizzie is incredibly envious. She is clamoring for the same style of button new clothes. Li Shimin immediately gives a grand wave of his hand. Learn it. We must learn how to make it. He immediately issues a decree to the Imperial Clothing Bureau, ordering the painters to watch the heavenly screen closely. They must sketch the design of this New Year's outfit. If that specific fabric is not available, then use the finest white fox fur instead. The painters of the Imperial Clothing Bureau are weeping in despair on the spot. Meanwhile, Su Zhenya has already taken little Sizzy into the fitting room. You wander around outside alone, but your gaze is firmly caught by a pair of small shoes in the corner. It is a pair of red fleece-lined cotton shoes. The toes are actually shaped like an awakening lion. The big eyes are bright and full of spirit. There is even a fluffy little embroidered ball on the forehead. The small bells hanging on the sides jingle with every shake. This is perfect. The more you look, the more you love them. You feel these shoes were practically tailor-made for Sizzy. Just then, the fitting room curtain is pulled open. Ta-da! Come and see our little princess. You turn around abruptly. In that instant, even your breathing seems to stop. Little Sizzy is dressed in a fiery red, modern Chinese-style New Year's outfit that makes her small face look incredibly fair. The white plush beret tilted on her head makes her look both playful and stylish. She is clearly a little fairy who stepped right out of a painting. Sizzy gets a bit shy under your gaze. She grabs the hem of her clothes and twirls in place. Her skirt flutters in the air. Young master, does Sizzy look pretty? Do I look like that? That lucky New Year doll. You do. You look exactly like one. You crouch down, handing over the pair of awakening lion cotton shoes in your hand. Here, match them with these shoes. Big brother picked these out especially for you. Put them on, and you will be as majestic as a little lion. As soon as Sizzy sees the little shoes with the fluffy balls and bells, her eyes instantly light up like stars. Wow, big tiger shoes. And they have bells. I want to wear them. I want to wear them. She can't wait to change into the awakening lion shoes. The crisp jingling of the bells immediately accompanies her footsteps. Sizzy is overjoyed. She runs back and forth in the store, just to hear those pleasant bells. Ha ha ha. Jingle jingle. Young master. Sister Su. My shoes are singing. Li Shimin is so excited he says good 3 times in a row. He stands up directly from the dragon throne. He points at Sizzy on the heavenly screen, who looks just like a child from a traditional New Year's painting. The joy in his eyes is practically overflowing. Guanyin, look quickly. This outfit is simply a perfect match. Empress Jongsun is also beaming with smiles, nodding repeatedly. It truly looks wonderful. It has the Han charm, yet it is so light and convenient. She then changes the subject, pointing at the little shoes on Sitzi's feet that make a crisp clicking sound. Erlang, look, those shoes must have been chosen by Meng Fei. I was originally worried his taste would not be up to par. I never expected this. Li Shimin takes a closer look. The awakening lion design. These shoes are chosen very much to my liking. That boy Meng Fei has finally shown some good sense for once. Pairing these shoes with this outfit, it is simply the finishing touch of a masterpiece. Little Sizzy spins around countless times in the children's clothing store, finally stopping while panting for breath. Her little face is flushed red. Puff puff. My lord, is Sizzy pretty? You quickly grab a tissue to wipe her sweat. Beyond pretty. Our Sizzy is now the prettiest little princess in the entire mall. Su Zhenya watches your interaction from the side. Her gaze so tender it could melt anyone's heart. She actually gives you a rare compliment. Your taste is not bad this time. The awakening lion elements have a great meaning. You chuckle. But of course, don't you see who I am? But Su Zhenya just gives you a side eye. Give him an inch and he takes a mile. All right, stop being a wisecrack. Shouldn't we go pay now? All these sets together. I am afraid it won't be cheap. You immediately wave your hand grandly. acting like a total big spender. Not a problem, as long as Sizzy likes it. After saying that, you pick up the little princess and stride toward the cashier. Sir, the total is 2,380 yuan. The cashier speaks with a smile. Then she quickly adds, since your wife is a gold member of our store, you get a 12% discount. The discounted total is 2,094 yuan. Would you like to scan the code or use a card? Little Sizzy in your arms is startled by this number. 2,000. Although she does not know how things are calculated here, she remembers her father saying that one tael of silver can buy so much rice. This 2,000, is it a whole lot? The little princess immediately tugs at your collar, uneasily. My lord, it is so precious. Sizzy does not want it anymore. Sizzy can just wear that blue fluffy one. The little girl's heartbreakingly sensible words make your heart ache sharply. Is this the princess of the great Tang, who is showered with 10,000 favors? To think she is so incredibly considerate. Silly girl. You rub her little head. This is nothing. For the new year, all we want is to be happy. As long as you are happy, any amount spent is worth it. With that, you pull out your phone and scan the code. Beep. Payment successful. Wishing your family of 3 a happy new year. The clerk's warm voice makes your heart skip a beat. You take the clothes. This time, he did not even try to argue. He just subconsciously glanced at Su Zhenya beside him. Little did he know, she was looking right back at him. Their eyes met for a split second. Both of them blushed instantly. Emperor Renzong of Song, Zhao Zhen, furrowed his brows deeply. Over 2,000. By the standards of the great Song, 2,000 coins would not be too expensive. But this yuan, what kind of currency unit is it? If calculated in silver, would not that be an astronomical price? Bao Zheng, standing nearby, immediately bowed. Your Majesty, I observed that in the future, a loaf of bread costs only a dozen yuan. Over 2,000 for a single outfit. I am afraid that is equivalent to a commoner's entire monthly expenses. Meng Fei is certainly spending a fortune on this little princess from a strange land. Zhao Zhen nodded. Indeed, this man values loyalty. He is a true man. I truly admire him. Walking out of the store, Sizzy sat on your arm. Her 2 little short legs were swinging non-stop. She suddenly bragged in her cute milky voice. Young master, listen, my shoes are singing. Su Zhenya, standing aside, watched this heartwarming scene. The smile on the corner of her lips never faded. But as you looked at her, you started to hesitate. After all, she had been shopping with you guys for so long. You felt a bit bad about it. You cautiously spoke up. Hey, Su Zhenya, if you have things to do, go ahead and take care of them. Don't worry about us. The moment those words left your mouth, the warm atmosphere instantly dropped to freezing point. Su Zhenya looked at you with a half smile. Meng Fei, are you trying to kick me out? Her eyes held a hint of playfulness. She deliberately dragged out her tone. Or are you afraid that having your ex-girlfriend around as a third wheel will ruin your chances of finding the next one? You shook your head like a rattle. How would I dare to kick you out? You are our Sitsy's personal stylist. Right then, little Sizzy in your arms was not having it either. She did not understand terms like ex or third wheel, but she understood the words kick out. The little girl gave you a fierce, baby-faced lecture. Young master, you are not allowed to make the pretty sister leave. Sister is a fairy. If you kick her out, Sizzy will. I will cry for you to see. As she spoke, her little mouth pouted. The magic of large eyes filling with tears instantly struck. Okay. I won't. You immediately raised your hands in surrender. We will treat sister to dinner, and we will take her to a movie. Is that okay? Seeing your defeated look, Su Zhenya finally could not help but burst into laughter. She gently stroked the little girl's cheek. At least our Sizzy knows how to care for her sister, unlike a certain someone who has a wooden head. She looked up at you. Her gaze softened once more. Don't worry, I am fine. Going back to an empty house all by myself is boring anyway. Besides, I really like Sizzy. I will just treat it as a trial run for life with a kid. Li Shimin, watching this scene, could not help but nod in approval. This woman knows when to push and when to pull. She truly understands the big picture. She really knows how to pull Meng Fei strings. This is getting interesting. But then he pointed at you on the heavenly screen, frustrated that you were not living up to expectations. This Meng Fei is such a blockhead. The girl has made it so obvious. And yet, look at you. You actually tried to kick her out. Zhu Yanzhang, on the other hand, was curious about this ex-girlfriend, breaking up but still acting like best friends. She even helps him look after the kid. The social morals of the future are certainly quite open-minded. Just then, a burst of upbeat music came from the mall's atrium. Little Sizzy pointed ahead curiously. My lord, there are people performing over there. Seeing the crowd gathering, you smiled and said, it must be a mall event. Come on, let us go join the fun. But on the way to the atrium, Su Zhenya suddenly dropped a bombshell of a question. By the way, Meng Fei, in all the years we have been apart, you did not delete me, did you? Your heart skipped a beat. Well, no, I did not. This was a trap question. Of course you did not delete her, but you had cleared the entire chat history. You cleared your throat and said, I definitely did not delete you. However, I did wipe the chat logs. Out of sight, out of mind, right. Hearing this, Su Zhenya's finger paused for a moment on her phone screen. She looked up and gave you a deep look. Her eyes were filled with complex emotions. You idiot. She cursed softly. Her voice was faint, yet you heard it clearly. Su Zhenya lowered her head, a beautiful curve forming at the corner of her lips. She muttered under her breath, well, I did not delete you. I did not even clear the chat logs. Boom. You felt your ears turn red instantly. Your heart skipped a beat. She did not even clear the logs. Does that mean, just as your brain was about to overheat, the phone in your pocket suddenly chimed? You pulled it out to check. Su Zhenya had actually transferred $1,000 to you. The note said, New Year's money for Sizzy. You froze and looked at her. Wait, what are you doing? I thought I was paying for everything. But Su Zhenya just looked indifferent. She tilted her head and looked at you. Who said it was for you? That is for Sizzy. Su Zhenya paused for a second. A playful glint appeared in her eyes. As your ex-girlfriend, I have an obligation to look after your little cousin. Call it a humanitarian gesture. You were left completely speechless. Humanitarian gesture, my foot. No way, I can't accept this. Just as you were about to hit return, Su Zhenya reached out and pressed her hand over your phone screen. If you do not take it, it means you still blame me for insisting on going abroad back then. It means you still have not moved on. You looked into her determined eyes, and could only sigh in defeat. Fine, fine, fine. I will take it. I will treat you to dinner later. This errand is about done. Su Zhenya smiled with satisfaction. Then she took Sizzy from your arms. Come here, Sizzy, come with Big Sister. I will take you to see the big celebration. Okay. Little Sizzy dove into Big Sister Sus' arms without a second thought. Looking at the two of them ahead, looking just like mother and daughter. Your heart was a mess, yet it felt strangely warm. This woman is still as bossy as ever. You shook your head, but could not stop your lips from curling up. Li Shimin suddenly slammed his hand on the imperial desk. 1,000 yuan. Good. How bold. This is not just an ex-girlfriend's favor. This is clearly a dowry for Sizzy. Empress Zhongsun helplessly corrected him. Erlang, it is called a bride price. Li Shimin waved her off, pointing at your blushing ears on the heavenly screen. Look at that Mengsei kid. She has got him wrapped around her finger. Totally whipped. This woman has both looks and tactics. This daughter-in-law. The more I look at her, the more I like her. At the same time, Wang Anshi of the Song dynasty was shocked by the mobile transfer feature. With just a tap of a finger, it is done. If the great Song had such a thing, the grain logistics needed for my reforms would arrive in an instant. Why worry about an empty treasury? Why worry about corrupt officials lining their own pockets? This is truly a divine tool for governing a nation. The stage in the mall's atrium was surrounded by layers of crowds. Sizzy curled up in Su Zhenya's arms, covering her ears. It is so noisy here. Are those big boxes making thunder? You stepped forward and took Sizzy from Su Zhenya's arms. Come, let us ride the big horse. You sat her directly on your shoulders. Wow, it is so high. Young master, I can see it now. She excitedly pointed at the stage ahead. So many people, so many lights. There is a person on stage talking into a stick. A host in a red suit was holding a microphone, passionately hyping up the atmosphere. Hello friends, I would like to wish you all a happy new year in advance. The host's voice was amplified immensely by the microphone and speakers. Zhang Fei from the Three Kingdoms era saw the scene, his round eyes bulging in an instant. Good heavens, that fellow's voice. How is it louder than mine? He stared at the stick in the host's hand, his eyes full of longing. Back then at Changban Slope, my single roar scared off Cao Cao's million-man army, but it took every bit of my strength. He can make such a commotion just by holding a stick. That stick, could it be some kind of magical artifact? If I had one of those, I would scare the very souls out of Cao Cao's camp. Meanwhile in the Shenyang Palace of Great Qin, Yingzheng could not help but cover his ears too. He looked at those speakers in shock. They did not even need anyone to beat them. It can produce a sound as loud as a clap of thunder. Does that stick not require any effort to shout into? The sound can travel for miles. The first emperor, Yingzheng, sternly questioned Li Si. What new contraption of the Mohists is this? Investigate it. Investigate it thoroughly. His gaze was fierce and sharp. What kind of divine wood is this microphone made of? In the forbidden city of the Great Ming, Zhu Yanzhong looked at the scene. The sea of people displayed on the heavenly screen. He could not help but sigh with emotion. How lively. The overflowing smiles on the faces of these future commoners. This is the prosperous and bustling age he had always dreamed of. For the next segment, the parent-child interactive lucky draw. The host waved his hand grandly, unveiling the red cloth. The winning family will receive a Lego gift set worth 888 yuan. A massive Lego bundle, plus a limited edition Year of the Dragon plushie. But little Sizzy on your shoulders was not looking at the Lego at all. Her eyes were fixed on that bright red chubby dragon. the dragon. She excitedly patted your head and shouted in her cute baby voice. Young master, I want that dragon. That dragon is so cute. You gave a wry smile. You have to win the draw to get that. There are hundreds of people here. It won't be that easy. Unexpectedly, Su Zhenya, standing beside you, gave a beaming smile. Just give it a try. Who knows? Our Sizzy is so adorable. Even the heavens must favor her. Just as she finished speaking, a giant spotlight on the stage began to sweep through the crowd, accompanied by the rapid, intense beating of drums. The host shouted at the top of his lungs. Stop. The light suddenly froze. First group, a little chubby boy. Second group, a little girl with pigtails. All right, there is only one spot left. The host hyped up the atmosphere again. The lights spun around. The beam of light swept back and forth over the crowd's heads. You did not hold any hope at all. You were just about to slip away with Sizzy. But right at that moment, stop. The host shouted again. With a sudden flash, that dazzling white beam of light froze at the highest point in the venue, right on Sizzy, who was riding on your neck. She was reaching out her tiny hand to catch the light. The big screen even cut to her delicate, porcelain-like face, a close-up of her looking completely dazed. The next second, a thunderous roar of amazement erupted. Wow, this little girl is way too cute. The host also yelled excitedly into the mic. Congratulations to this little princess riding on her daddy's neck. You were completely frozen. However, the host continued, and this handsome father, as well as this beautiful mother beside them. Oh wow, the visual appeal of this family of three is simply off the charts. You and Su Zhenya were both left stunned on the spot. Only little Sizzy asked in her baby voice. The light. Did I catch it? Li Shimin looked at his adorable, precious daughter on the screen. Ha ha ha. As expected of our Sizzy, she is truly destined for greatness. To stand out among hundreds of people. This is exactly the kind of fortune a princess of the great Tang should have. But when he heard the host mention daddy and mommy, his laughter stopped abruptly. Wait a minute. What did that actor in the red clothes just say? Daddy, mommy, is he saying? Mengfei is Sizzy's father, and Su Zhenya is her mother. Insolence. Li Shimin flew into a sudden rage. I am still very much alive and well. Mengfei, you scoundrel. How dare you take advantage of us in front of everyone? This is infuriating. At the same time, in the Shenyang Palace of Great Qin, Yingzheng was staring at that beam of light. This light can actually follow human commands, gathering together without dispersing. If my mausoleum had such an everlasting lamp, I could inspect my empire underground as if it were broad daylight. Exclamations of wonder rose from the audience below. You felt like you were riding a tiger and could not get off. You stiffly turned your head to look at Su Zhenya beside you. As it turned out, she was incredibly calm. Facing the gaze of the entire crowd, she did not show the slightest stage fright. Instead, she waved gracefully to the audience. Her aura was comparable to a movie star on the red carpet. Su Zhenya looked at you with a half smile. She teased in a low voice. Let us go. Baby's daddy. You were instantly petrified. What the heck, baby's daddy? For the sake of Sizzy's dragon toy, we will just have to play along for once. And that one call of baby's daddy made Li Shimin's face turn green with envy in the Lijiang Hall of the Tang. HMPH. Li Shimin was fuming with jealousy. How could that woman say it so naturally? Empress Zhongsun, however, was watching with great interest. As long as Sizzy is happy, who cares what she calls him? But seeing Sizzy on your shoulders, shouting for the dragon with eyes full of hope, not wanting to disappoint her, you could only bite the bullet and walk onto the stage. In the forbidden city of Great Ming, Zhu Yanzhong looked at the family of three on the heavenly screen. He smacked his lips. Don't say it. This family of three actually looks quite the part. Crown Prince Zhu Biao smiled and reminded him from the side. Father Emperor, that is not a family of three. It is Meng Fei's little sister and his ex-girlfriend. To his surprise, Zhu Yanzhong waved his large hand. Bah, it is only a matter of time, is not it? Look at the way that woman looks at him. Where else could she go? I am an expert at reading people. On stage, the host was showering them with excessive flattery. He shoved the microphone toward you. May I ask, how did you win over such a beautiful mommy? And who usually takes care of the child more at home? Your head was buzzing. These questions are all traps. After a long pause, you managed to squeeze out. It was destiny. Whenever I have time, I am the one taking care of her. The audience immediately started cheering. What a great man, handsome and a real family man. Beside you, Su Zhenya was clearly enjoying this. The host then moved on to the main event. Round 1. New Year Idiom Solitaire. Little friend, please give us an idiom. If you win, you will be promoted. The host gave a mischievous smirk and presented the challenge immediately. Roaring dragons and leaping tigers. As soon as he finished speaking, the microphone was handed to a chubby little boy. Little friend, what comes after leaping? The chubby boy's face turned beet red. Leaping. Leaping into more food makes me fat. Peeved. The whole audience burst into laughter. The first group is eliminated. Next is the second group, a little girl with pigtails. She thought for a long time, and answered in a soft, milky voice. The moon is crunchy. The host stood there in awkward silence. Group 2. Eliminated. Now, every eye in the room turned toward you and the little Sizzy on your shoulder. You thought to yourself, it is over. Little Sizzy is a Tang dynasty princess. How could she possibly understand modern idiom word chains? But unexpectedly, the little girl patted your head and shouted in her adorable voice, "Young master, put me down. I want to speak." Su Zhenya immediately knelt down and encouraged her gently. "Don't be afraid, little sister. Just say whatever comes to mind." The host smilingly handed the microphone to Sizzy. "Little princess, roaring dragons and leaping. What comes next?" To everyone's surprise, the little girl was not shy at all. She blinked her big eyes and thought for a moment, then shouted at the top of her soft lungs, "Leaping horses and cracking whips." The whole venue fell silent instantly. The host instinctively followed up. "Whip. Whip's length is beyond reach." Sizzy tilted her head, and without a moment's pause, reach the edge and test the blade. The host's eyes widened in shock. His voice was even trembling slightly. "Test. Test the gold and strike the stone." Sizzy giggled, her eyes curving into crescent moons. Stone shattering and heaven startling. Wow. The crowd below completely erupted. "She is a child prodigy. That kid is only about 3 years old, right? My 3-year-old son is still playing with mud." The host gave Sizzy a big thumbs up. So finally, could our little princess give everyone a New Year's blessing using idioms? Sizzy straightened her tiny chest, her face becoming solemn. "I wish you all peace across the seas and clear rivers, a prosperous nation and a peaceful people." As soon as the words left her mouth, "Bravo." Li Shimin was so excited his face turned flush red. He pumped his fist hard into the air. "That is my Sizzy. Peace across the seas and clear rivers, a prosperous nation and a peaceful people. This is truly a princess of my great Tang." Empress Jongsun's eyes also welled up with hot tears. She was beyond proud. At the same time, the great scholars at the Imperial Academy were nodding repeatedly. "Her Highness's natural talent is extraordinary. It is truly a blessing for our great Tang." Meanwhile, beneath the heavenly screen in the Ming Forbidden City, the flatbread in Zhu Yanzhang's hand fell to the ground with a thud. His face was filled with utter disbelief. "Goodness gracious, this little girl is actually only 3 years old. When I was 3, I was still herding cattle for the landlord." He turned his head toward Crown Prince Zhu Biao and shouted, "Biao, make sure you teach Xiangying well when you get back. We absolutely cannot lose to this little kid from the Tang dynasty." Meanwhile, in the Shenyang Palace of Great Qin, Ying Zheng was fascinated by the style of the microphone. "Li Si, listen to that. That child's voice is so tender and young. Yet through that object, it resonates as loud as a giant bronze bell. This is truly a divine artifact for projecting one's voice. If I had such a thing, standing atop Mount Tai for the Fengshan ceremony, addressing all the people under heaven. Imagine what a majestic sight that would be." Looking at Sizzy on the stage, enjoying the cheers, his sense of pride was practically hitting the ceiling. This "my kid is a genius" feeling was simply too addictive. Su Zhenya could not help but squat down and give Sizzy a big kiss. "How is our little girl so amazing?" Just then, the host changed the subject, a mischievous smirk appearing on his face. "However, if you want to take home our grand Lego prize, relying on the child's intelligence alone is not enough. We also need to test mom and dad's chemistry." A second later, the host loudly announced the second round, the mind-reading challenge. You and Su Zhenya suddenly locked eyes. Both of you saw 2 words in each other's gaze. "We are doomed. Chemistry. We are exes who broke up 2 years ago. Please listen to the first question." The host held up a cue card. "At home, who does the cooking more often?" 3, 2. You pointed to yourself without any hesitation. Unexpectedly, Su Zhenya pointed at you at the exact same time. "Whoa," the host exclaimed. "It looks like Dad is the chef of the house. What a good man." Second question. Who is usually the lazier one? You pointed to yourself again. Su Zhenya also pointed at you again. "Ha ha ha." The host teased them immediately. "It seems Dad not only cooks, but also loves his beauty sleep." The host suddenly pulled back his smile. "All right, last question. Listen carefully. Who is the boss at home?" You froze instantly. Subconsciously, you thought back to when you were buying clothes earlier. The image of Su Zhenya flashed through your mind, specifically the boss-like way she transferred money to you. Without hesitation, you pointed your finger straight at Su Zhenya. However, Su Zhenya also reached out at the same time, pointing directly at you. You pointed at her, and she pointed at you. The whole place went dead silent for a second, followed by a massive burst of laughter. What does this tell us? It shows that this couple manages their finances together. Now this is what a model couple looks like. Congratulations to you both. You have successfully passed the chemistry challenge. Instantly, confetti filled the air. The cheers were deafening. Your heart sank. This misunderstanding seems to be getting deeper and deeper. Little Sizzy, holding the limited edition dragon plushie, was grinning from ear to ear. Who would have thought the host would actually ask you to give the child and her mom a hug? Waves of cheers and heckling from the audience grew louder and louder. just as you were so embarrassed you wanted to crawl into a hole and hide. Su Zhenya's next move sent the entire crowd into a total frenzy. A flicker of a smile danced in her eyes, and she actually took the initiative to walk toward you. Then, she opened her arms and gently pulled you into a hug. In that split second, a familiar, delicate fragrance enveloped you. You felt a rush of blood go straight to your head. Your mind went completely blank. Whoa! The screams from the audience nearly blew the roof off the mall. Little Sizzy grabbed onto your leg, shouting "Huggy" in her sweet baby voice. The image of the family of three in a tight embrace was frozen in time. Back in the Lijiang Hall of the Tang dynasty, Li Shimin completely lost his cool. Clang! He crushed the teacup in his hand with brute force. Hugged, in front of everyone. Where is the sense of propriety? He was fuming that you dared to take advantage of the young lady, and scolded Su Zhenya for not being modest enough. However, Empress Zhongsun burst into a giggle. One sentence from her made Li Shimin's face turn green. "Stop being so salty, Your Majesty." She explained that this was just a modern etiquette for hugging, then pointed at the heavenly screen to remind him, "Look, our daughter is being hugged too." What a heartwarming sight. If Meng Fei can actually marry Su Zhenya and bring her home, we can finally rest easy about Sizzy. Li Shimin huffed and puffed with indignation. Considering that the youth is looking after Sizzy, he decided to let it slide this time. But then he changed his tune and started nitpicking you again. This Meng Fei is as stiff as a wooden post. He is even afraid to hug a woman. Back in my day, before he could finish, the Empress shut him up with a sharp glare. After getting off the stage, you let out a long sigh of relief. You tentatively asked Su Zhenya, "Just now, I hope I did not offend you." To your surprise, she shot you a look, her eyes filled with a hint of playfulness. "Offend me? How? You were as stiff as a rock. Anyone watching would have thought I was hugging a mannequin, just as you were scratching your head in awkwardness." An urgent and familiar ringtone echoed from your pocket. You pulled out your phone to check, and 3 words were flashing on the screen. "The Empress Dowager Mom. I am cooked. My mom is video calling me." A cold sweat broke out all over you instantly. Today, not only is your ex-girlfriend of 2 years, Su Zhenya, standing right next to you, but you are also carrying a Tang dynasty princess of unknown origin. Now you were in a total panic, as you were caught between a rock and a hard place. Su Zhenya noticed something was wrong. She leaned in curiously. "Who is calling? Why do you look so scared? You look like you have seen a ghost." You quickly pressed the phone screen against your chest, forcing a smile that looked more like a grimace. It is nobody. It is just my mom. The Empress Dowager is doing a surprise inspection." Su Zhenya let out an "oh" of realization, a mischievous smirk appearing on her face. "Your mom. Then why did not you pick up? Afraid she will find out you are not bringing a date home for New Year's. Oh come on, stop messing around." "Su Zhenya, I need a major favor here. Look over there." You quickly point toward a row of arcade machines nearby. "Can you take Sizzy to play for a while? I need to take a call. I need some privacy for a second." You know how nagging the elderly can be. Su Zhenya sees right through you. "All right then. Look how scared you are. Let us go, Sizzy. Big sister will take you to play the capsule machines." Watching Su Zhenya walk away with little Sizzy, you steady your breathing. Your finger trembles as you press the answer button. "Hello, Ma. Happy New Year." Beneath the heavenly screen in the Tang Dynasty's Lijiang Hall, Li Shimin watches your reaction. Take a look at that. Just receiving a message from his mother, and he is as terrified as if he is facing a great enemy. Empress Zhongsun, however, watches with a gentle smile. "My lord, this is called filial piety." He simply does not want his mother to worry. A middle-aged woman with permed curly hair and a sharp gaze suddenly appears on the heavenly screen. Emperor Wu of Han, Lu Che, is so startled he nearly drops his cup. What kind of sorcery is this? A human face is actually imprisoned within that small box, and it is even speaking. Wei Qing stands nearby, equally dumbstruck. "Your Majesty," separated by thousands of miles, yet it is like being face to face. How are the methods of these future generations any different from the gods? Meng Fei, you brat, what are you doing? Why did it take you so long to pick up? You quickly force a smile. "I did not hear it, Mom. Ma, I am at the mall. Isn't the new year almost here? I came out to buy some supplies for the festival." On the screen, Meng's mother narrows her eyes suspiciously. "Buying New Year supplies? Is the sun rising from the west today?" You chuckle. "Well, I have grown up, have not I? I have learned how to show respect to my parents." Sure enough, as soon as Meng's mother hears this, the expression on her face turns from cloudy to sunny in an instant. "At least you have a bit of a conscience, kid. But do not waste your money." Who would have thought she would suddenly change the subject to test you? "Are you coming home alone again this year? Haven't you brought back a live person for me yet? A girl, specifically." Your heart skips a beat. "Here we go. Ma, did not we already agree on this? Just let it happen naturally." Meng's mother's face changes instantly. She starts a barrage of nagging. Right at that moment, you accidentally tilt your phone camera. As luck would have it, that tilt captures Suzhenya, who is standing not far away. The nagging from Meng's mother on the screen stops abruptly. Wait a minute, don't move. Turn the camera back. Quickly. You are momentarily stunned. Huh, turn it where? That girl in the white coat behind you. Meng's mother's voice is trembling with excitement. Is that Suzhenya? Is that little Ya? I am looking at that figure, that profile. It is definitely her. Are you two back together? I tried everything to stay under the radar, but I still could not escape Mom's eagle eyes. Ma, you must be seeing things. She is just a random passerby. Cut the crap. Turn that camera back around. If you dare hang up on me, don't bother coming home for New Year's. I saw everything. That aura, that is definitely Xiao Ya. You cheeky brat. I was wondering why you suddenly cared about New Year's shopping. Turns out you are out on the town with Xiao Ya, just as you were making your last stand. My lord, look, I found a little pink piggy. Right then, the little princess comes charging at you with her short little legs. Pitter-patter. Suzhenya is right behind her, shouting anxiously. Sizzy, slow down. Don't trip. But the little girl does not care at all. She dives headfirst into your arms, looking up with her adorable porcelain doll face. Her eyes are sparkling, begging for a compliment. My lord, this piggy is so cute. It looks just like Fatty Sun. On the screen, the excited expression on Meng's mother's face suddenly freezes. Her eyes go wide as saucers, especially after hearing Sitsy's sweet, crisp voice call out, my lord. Even though Meng's mother does not understand the title, that intimate tone, and that practiced way of hugging, who would believe there is not a blood connection? Mom's mental CPU instantly overloads, connecting the dots. A few seconds later, boom. A mind-blowing conclusion explodes in her head. With a trembling finger, Mom points at the little girl on the screen. Whose child is this? Why does she look a bit like your ex, Xiao Ya? You quickly reach out to cover the camera. Mom, let me explain. This is a friend's child. They went abroad and asked me to babysit for 2 days. But your old lady is not buying it at all. A friend. Which friend? One I do not know. And they went abroad. You are a single guy who can't even get a girlfriend. Who would trust you with a child this small? Mom's gaze becomes razor sharp. Unless this child is actually yours. At that very moment, Suzhenya actually walks over. She steps forward gracefully and waves. Auntie, Happy New Year. That single word, auntie, completely confirms her suspicions. She is so emotional, she is practically in tears. Oh, Xiaoya, it really is you. Suzhenya explains with a smile. I just got back to the country a few days ago. I happened to run into Meng Fei, so we are just having a look around. Mom's eyes immediately dart back and forth between Suzhenya and the little princess. Xiaoya, how old is this child? Your scalp instantly goes numb. You shoot a meaningful look at Suzhenya. However, Suzhenya gets the message, but she interprets it the completely wrong way. You said vaguely, this child is probably about 3 or 4 years old. In that instant, your mom's mind was struck by a bolt of lightning. Broken up for 2 years. Child is 3 or 4. Doesn't that mean she was pregnant right when they broke up? She must have given birth abroad. Now the case is completely closed for her. This is definitely the child Suzhenya took away back then. And now she has brought her granddaughter back to acknowledge her roots. No wonder you never found another girlfriend. Oh my goodness, my precious granddaughter. Your mom shouted excitedly at the screen. Come here, quick, call me Grandma. You covered your face, feeling like your life was over. Just let the world end. But then, seeing you remain silent, little Sizzy actually leaned obediently toward the phone. In her sweet baby voice, she chirped. Hello, Grandma. I am Sizzy, wishing you prosperity. Now, where is my red envelope? On the other side of the screen, your mom's heart completely melted. She showered the girl with praises. Oh, what a good girl. So well behaved. Immediately after, her gaze turned sharp. Meng Fei, I do not care whose child this is, or what is going on between you and Zhenya right now. This Lunar New Year, you must bring Zhenya and the child home for dinner. If even one of them is missing, you might as well go live under a bridge. A second later, ding dong ding dong. Your phone vibrated twice. You picked it up and saw a notification. The Empress Dowager has transferred 20,000 yuan to you. Then came a roaring voice message. This is a welcoming gift for Zhenya and the child. Don't be a cheapskate. Get them gold locks and silver bracelets, the whole deal. If it is not enough, just tell me. This is a political mission. Failure is not an option. You let out a long helpless sigh toward the sky. There is no explaining this away. Su Zhenya's eyes were full of playful mischief. Oh, Meng Fei, it seems I am still very highly regarded by your mother. I have not only become your current girlfriend, but I have been promoted straight to the mother of your child. She glanced at Sizzy, who was giggling in your arms. Isn't this misunderstanding getting a bit out of hand? In the past, you would have desperately tried to explain, but now, looking into Su Zhenya's smiling eyes, a bold idea suddenly popped into your head. Since the girl has already gone this far, would you even be a man if you kept acting so shy? Right in front of Su Zhenya, you tapped the screen twice. The 20,000 yuan was instantly pocketed. You looked up and stared straight at Su Zhenya. It is a huge misunderstanding, but you know my mom. She only sees what she wants to see, and she really likes you. This 20,000 is for you. As you said that, you opened the transfer interface. Su Zhenya raised her eyebrows and held your hand down. What are you doing? Are you really giving it to me? Aren't you afraid I will just take the money and run? You smiled, a smile that was a bit roguish, yet somewhat profound. Running away. If you really could run, you would have vanished 2 years ago. I would not be bumping into you today. Then your tone shifts instantly. Even though it was a misunderstanding, I guess it was a blessing in disguise. My mom has been nagging me about you for 2 years, and I can tell you have missed me quite a bit too. So, you look into her eyes. I want to invite you, not because my mother told me to, and not because of some misunderstanding, but because I, Meng Fei, would like to ask Ms. Su Zhenya to take our little one and come to my home to celebrate the new year together. Are you willing? This sudden invitation leaves Su Zhenya completely stunned. She did not expect you to take the initiative like this. And that look in your eyes, how is it even more intense than when you first confessed your love? Su Zhenya's cheeks flush crimson. She awkwardly turns her head away and says stubbornly, Who said I missed you? Don't get ahead of yourself. I am only doing this for Sizzy. I am afraid she will suffer staying with a clueless guy like you. Since your mother has already asked, and considering this huge appearance fee, Su Zhenya can't hide the smile in her eyes. Then I shall reluctantly agree. But let us get one thing straight. I am just here for the food, not to get back together with you. Also, I can't accept this money. Keep it to buy some treats for Sizzy. The heavy stone in your heart finally drops. As you command, whatever, Ms. Su says goes. My mom's braised pork will be all you can eat. You both look at each other and smile. It is as if the 2-year gap vanished in an instant. Nearby, little Sizzy tilts her head while hugging her dragon plushies. Although she does not understand what you are saying, she can feel that you are very happy. And Sister Su is very happy too. The little one starts giggling along, holding her dragon dolls high up. Go home. Eat yummy food. Find grandma for good treats. Great Tang Li Junghal. Li Shimin strokes his beard, showing an expression like a proud mentor. This kid finally acts like a real man. When facing the woman of your heart, this is how it should be. Strike while the iron is hot. Empress Zhongsun is also full of relief. Indeed, Meng Fei knows how to step up at the crucial moment. That girl, Su Zhenya, might act reluctant, but deep down, she must be overjoyed. Now that Sizzy has someone to truly cherish her, we can finally be at peace. Great Ming, Forbidden City. Zhu Yanjing's eyes are fixed on that transfer record, muttering incessantly, Good heavens, 20,000 yuan. Meng Fei's mother is way too generous. Zhu Yanzhang points at the screen, looking incredulous. Just a couple of taps and the money arrives. No need to go to the vault. No need for heavy chests. Crown Prince Zhu Biao ponders beside him. Father Emperor. I believe this must involve some secret command or fingerprint recognition. But this speed of circulation is truly jaw-dropping. If my great Ming dynasty could be like this, relief funds could reach the disaster victims in an instant. We would never have to fear those greedy officials siphoning it off layer by layer. Zhu Yanzhang's eyes lit up instantly. Exactly. My boy, you really are brilliant. If I could get my hands on this thing, I could transfer salaries directly in the future. Let us see who still dares to embezzle my silver. Meanwhile, in the Weiyang Palace of the Great Han, Lu Che was still obsessed with that video call from earlier, separated by thousands of miles, yet appearing right before one's eyes. This is the true meaning of strategizing from within a command tent. If we had this while fighting the Zongnu, I could just start a video call with Wei Qing, have him pan the camera around the battlefield, and it would be just as thrilling as leading the charge myself. You are carrying bags big and small, with a giant Lego set tucked under your arm, while little Sizzy holds a dragon plushie in one hand, and holds Su Zhenya's hand with the other. They skip along happily in front, looking like a perfectly harmonious picture. Following behind, you call out, Let us go. Time to go home. You pull out your phone, ready to hail a Didi ride again. To your surprise, Su Zhenya, who was walking ahead, suddenly stops and turns around. You are stunned. Did we forget something? I have got everything right here. The next second, Su Zhenya lets out a helpless sigh. She pulls a car key out of her coat pocket. It bears the distinctive shield emblem of a Porsche. As she presses the unlock button, in a nearby VIP parking spot, a deep purple SUV suddenly flashes its headlights. A Porsche Macan S. Staring at the car, you silently slip your phone back into your pocket. You gulp and ask in disbelief. You bought a car, and a Porsche at that. Su Zhenya tosses the car keys toward you, tracing a graceful arc through the air. Instinctively, you reach out and catch them. The cold touch of the metal, and its heavy weight in your palm. She raises an eyebrow and looks at you. Well, you would not expect a delicate lady like me to drive a big guy like you. Plus all this luggage, would you? She glances at Sizzy, who is already looking a bit sleepy. Besides, the little one is tired. I need to sit in the back and keep her company. So, Master Meng, the corner of her mouth curls up. I will have to trouble you today to be our designated driver. Clutching the car keys, a warm feeling wells up in your heart. This feeling of being trusted and relied upon. It feels really good. You briskly stuff everything into the trunk, but as soon as everyone is settled in, the little girl is startled awake by the luxurious interior. Wow, this carriage is even bigger than the one from before, and it smells so good. You catch a whiff of the same faint fragrance Suzhenya wears, and your heart flutters. Of course it is. This is your big sister's surprise steed. You smile and press the start button. Buckle up, everyone, let us head home. Under the heavenly screen, in the Shenyang Palace of Great Qin, Yingzheng suddenly stands up from his dragon throne. What kind of divine steed is this? He stares intently at those sharp, tiger-like headlights. Could this be the imperial carriage of the future generations? When he sees the luxurious ambient lighting and the massive screens inside the car, Yingzheng is completely mind-blown. Compared to this, the imperial carriages of the Qin people are practically ox carts. That woman can actually tame such a divine beast, and she just casually handed the control over to you. Meanwhile, in the Han Dynasty, Huo Qubing is so excited that he is literally jumping for joy. He points at the heavenly screen and shouts, "Uncle, listen to that sound. Vroom." That is the roar of a fierce beast. Is there a tiger locked inside that carriage? Wei Qing's eyes are also sparkling with awe, but Huo Qubing is already completely obsessed. This must be a war chariot capable of crossing mountains and ridges. If I had one of those, I would drive it straight to the Chanyu's main tent, blind them all with those lights, and then just run them right over. However, in the Lijiang Hall of the Tang Dynasty, Li Shimin sees the car gliding along as smoothly as if it were on silk. Sissy has fallen asleep peacefully by your side. Su Zhenya even thoughtfully adjusts her posture. Lear's heart instantly feels warm. This carriage is indeed not bad. It is much steadier than the imperial sedan. Sitzi's head did not even wobble once during her nap. He looks at you and Su Zhenya, nodding with satisfaction. If that kid Meng Fei could really marry her, it would certainly be a step up for him. As you grip the steering wheel, feeling the control of the luxury car, your heart feels incredibly at ease. Soft music plays inside the car, while brilliant city neons glow outside the window. You look at the silhouettes of the two of them in the rearview mirror, and everything feels as beautiful as a dream. You can't help but feel emotional. 2 years ago, you were just a poor guy who felt the sting of every taxi fare. Who would have thought that 2 years later, you would be driving a Porsche, taking a princess home for the new year? Unexpectedly, Su Zhenya catches your gaze in the rearview mirror. A slight smile plays at the corner of her lips. Someone's driving skills are still the same as back then. So steady it makes people want to sleep. Your face turns red. Cough cough. This is called safe driving. I am carrying 2 princesses, after all. Su Zhenya gives a light chuckle, her tone filled with a sense of playful affection. Suddenly, a cold, heavy droplet hits the windshield with a thud, following right after. The pitter-patter sound becomes more and more frequent. You frown slightly, and quickly turn on the wipers, but as the wipers sweep across the glass, they make a piercing grinding sound. A layer of fine, crushed ice suddenly appears on the glass. It is hailing. Su Zhenya also sits up straight. Your expression instantly becomes grave. It is not hail, it is freezing rain. As soon as the words leave your mouth, the car suddenly feels like it is drifting. Your heart tightens. You grip the steering wheel, concentrating intensely on controlling the vehicle. Screech! The tires are sliding on the road covered in thin ice. Fortunately, your reactions are fast enough. The car only swerves slightly before regaining its grip. You drop the speed to below 40 kilometers per hour, hardly daring to breathe. The road is completely iced over. This is practically an ice rink. While keeping a sharp eye on the road, you ask her where the hotel she booked is. She names a 5-star hotel in the city center. Your brow furrows even deeper in an instant. That place is still over 20 kilometers away from here, and we still have to cross 2 overpasses. You think to yourself, well, I am screwed now. The overpasses must be covered in ice and jammed up already. Sure enough, she pulls out her phone and sees a glaring stretch of deep red on the navigation map. She sighs and says, if all else fails, just drop me off at the subway station. No way. The words blurting out of your mouth almost instinctively, letting a girl drag a suitcase in the middle of the night and brave the freezing rain to squeeze into the subway. If word of this got out, you might as well just go find a block of tofu to bang your head against. You stare straight ahead. Your voice is not loud, yet it is full of commanding authority. Isn't all your luggage already in the trunk? Just crash at my place for tonight. It is too dangerous outside. I am not comfortable with it. Su Zhenya looks at your profile. That phrase, I am not comfortable with it, strikes her heart like a little hammer. Go to your house. A man and a woman alone. You would not happen to have some ulterior motives, would you? You almost slam on the brakes. Big sister, look at what time it is. You were so anxious you were talking nonsense. This is purely out of humanitarian concern. Besides, isn't Sizzy here too? We could be called a family of 3. Pa, 3 people. In the backseat, Little Suzy rubs her eyes as she wakes up. Drowsily, she hugs Su Zhenya's neck. Sister Su, please do not leave, okay? Stay and sleep with Suzy. Suzy is scared to be all alone. That little milky voice is simply perfection. Your heart instantly blooms with joy. Beautifully done. Truly worthy of being my dear sister from another mother. Su Zhenya strokes Sitsy's head. Okay, sister won't leave. I will stay with our Suzy tonight. Suzy happily gives her a big smooch. Yay. Sister smells the best. Immediately after, Su Zhenya turns her head and says, I am only staying for Sitsy's sake. You fight to suppress the upward curve of your lip. You nod with a deadpan expression. Understood. It is all for the child, after all. Master Meng understands perfectly. In the Lijiang Hall of the Great Tang, Li Shimin suddenly slaps his thigh. His imperial face beams with delight. Good rain, truly a magnificent rain. Even the heavens are helping this boy keep his lady. He looks at the icy roads on the heavenly screen. He feels this ice has come at the perfect time. This kid Meng Fei hasn't wasted Sitsy's efforts in playing matchmaker. Empress Zhongsun looks at Suzy acting cute on the screen. Her eyes are overflowing with maternal tenderness. This little girl is barely 10, yet she already knows how to play Cupid for the adults. Li Shimin immediately puffs out his chest. That goes without saying. She takes after me, naturally. However, in the Weiyang Palace of the Great Han, Lu Che stares at the skidding wheels. These divine steeds of the later generations actually fear ice and snow too. It seems although these iron beasts are fast, they move sluggishly before the might of the heavens. If my great Han cavalry tied hemp cloth around their hooves, wouldn't they be even more agile than that? Wei Qing nods from the side. Your Majesty is most wise. This iron beast is not invincible after all. Half an hour later, you finally pull into the residential complex, shaken but not stirred. You unbuckle your seatbelt and mutter. You and Suzy do not get out of the car just yet. With that, you push the car door open. Braving the bone-chilling sleet, you open the trunk. In one hand, you grab Su Zhenya's large pink suitcase. In the other, you are holding several large bags of New Year's goods. Tucked under your arm is a massive Lego gift set. You use your back to shield them from the wind and rain. You yank open the car door. Quick, get out. The next second, without another word, you take off your own down jacket. You throw it over little Suzy and Su Zhenya's heads. Don't get caught in the rain. This rain is wicked. It will freeze you solid in a second. That large down jacket, still warm with your body heat, is draped over her head. She looks up at you. You are only wearing a thin sweater. Your hair is already soaked by the freezing rain. It is plastered to your forehead, but your gaze is incredibly determined. Your broad back is like a wall, blocking the biting wind. You urge them on loudly. What are you spacing out for? Let us go. A warmth spreads through Su Zhenya's heart. She quickly picks up little Suzy and dashes towards the building entrance. Once inside the building, you drop everything on the floor. You are panting heavily. Your sweater is mostly soaked. A thin layer of tiny ice crystals has even formed on your hair. Su Zhenya quickly takes off the down jacket. Are you an idiot? Why did you give your jacket to us? You shake the water droplets from your hair and grin. I am a man, are not I? Thick-skinned. A little cold won't kill me. But Su Zhenya just glares at you. She pulls a tissue from her pocket and starts wiping your forehead and hair. Thick skin, huh? Look at you, your lips are turning purple from the cold. Her fingers, carrying a faint, pleasant scent, move across your forehead. This long-lost intimacy sends a jolt through you, like an electric shock. You do not dare to move a muscle. Just then, little Suzy speaks up in her sweet, childish voice. Hee, my young master has turned into a drowned rat. Big sister is washing my young master's face. Your face flushes as you take the tissue from her. I can do it myself. Let us go. Upstairs, but as the elevator ascends, floor by floor, your heart starts beating faster and faster. It is not from excitement. You have suddenly remembered something that could lead to your immediate social demise. Your bachelor pad. You have not cleaned it. The socks on the sofa. The takeout boxes on the coffee table. The slippers scattered messily by the door. You cry out in despair in your mind. If Su Zhenya sees this, would not the manly image you just built up instantly crumble? The elevator stops on the 16th floor. The doors open. You plant yourself in the doorway. You swallow hard and force a smile. Su Zhenya, how about you wait here by the door for a minute? I will just go in and find some slippers. However, Su Zhenya knows you all too well. Seeing your expression, she instantly figures everything out. A playful smile touches the corner of her lips. She pushes you aside. She strides confidently to the front door. What slippers are you looking for? Meng Fei, you are not hiding a woman in there, are you? She intentionally drew out her words. Or maybe your habit of living like a beautiful disaster has flared up again. You are instantly breaking into a cold sweat. No, it is just a bit of a mess. Su Zhenya does not listen at all. She reaches out her fair hand and points straight at the electronic lock. Password. You lower your head. Your voice is as quiet as a mosquito's buzz. It is your birthday. Su Zhenya's fingers pause for a brief moment. A flicker of complex emotion flashes deep in her eyes, but she quickly masks it. She skillfully presses 6 digits. Click. The door opens. Su Zhenya leads Sizzy into the room. With the asterisk snap, she switches on the living room light. In an instant, an all-natural den, filled with the raw hormones of a bachelor's life, is revealed to Su Zhenya in all its unreserved glory. Clothes are piled high on the sofa. A pair of socks is even hanging off the edge. Empty soda cans are scattered haphazardly across the coffee table. Slippers are strewn across the floor in different directions. You stand at the door clutching bags of all sizes, wishing you could just jump off the 16th floor right then and there. Just let the world end. You have never been this humiliated in your entire life. Even Sitsy's eyes are wide with shock. Oh, have we been robbed? Back at the palace, Li Shimin slams his palm heavily onto the dragon desk. Imperial scrolls are scattered all over the floor. He glares at your den on the heavenly screen. A pigsty. This is clearly a pigsty. My precious pearl, the most noble first princess of the great Tang. How dare he let Sizzy stay in such a place? Someone guards. Bring me my bow. I will shoot through this heavenly screen and put an arrow through that filthy brat's head. Empress Jongsun quickly holds back the rampaging Li Shimin. Your Majesty, please calm down. Meng Fei is a bachelor with no one to serve him. It is normal for the house to be a bit messy. If you shoot the heavenly screen, we won't be able to see Sizzy anymore. Li Shimin sits down resentfully, but he is still gnashing his teeth. Look at his behavior. He actually expects to get a wife. What kind of girl would be blind enough to marry him? Meanwhile, in the forbidden city of the Ming dynasty, Zhu Yanzhong is doubled over with laughter. Ha ha ha, that is more like it. That is exactly what a wifeless man's house should look like. Zhu Yanzhong slaps his thigh and turns to boast to Empress Ma. Wife, do you remember when I was conquering the world? The smell of those dirty socks in the military tents could smoke out mosquitoes. Empress Ma just gives him a massive eye roll. You were just a rough soldier. He is a scholar of the future generation. However, looking at Su Zhenya on the screen, she suddenly smiles and says, Changba, look at that girl's reaction. If she turns around and leaves now, then this whole thing is a game over for them. But if she does not mind the mess, then this could be something special. Zhu Yanzhong slaps his thigh again. Right, let us see how this girl handles it. Now, everyone understands. This is the moment of truth to see if Su Zhenya is a girl who can truly make a home and be a good wife.